All right. Good morning to all of you guys. So looks like there's 17. We'll kick it off around 20.
Good morning. Good morning.
Bringing y'all's attention to just so you know what's going on. Right? I don't want to hard pimp it, but just so you know, we do have this special going on for Labor Day on the educational membership, which essentially gets you access to everything we do. But the focus would be all the educational content that's built into our belt system. So some nice discounts on that, 15 on the monthly, 20 on the 3, 25 on the 6, and then 30 on the yearly, which we've already had people taking advantage of. That's your big money saver here. I think we're running that through midnight on Wednesday when Monte Crypto finishes his. That'll be the last day we'll do it. But we'll keep them going till midnight. They are live now, so you can use those discount codes. If you're not sure what they are, well, shit, they're right in front of you. There we go. See, it's nice to have someone working the board behind you. I feel like Howard Stern yelling at Scott, the engineer. Let's see. So we'll keep this. Oh, there's 20. We'll give it another minute or two. We're a little bit behind schedule. Not nobody else, but we're a little bleary about. But we'll rally here. Just all it takes is a few charts to get the juices flowing. What a time to be trading crypto. Interesting, very interesting times. Okay, so we're holding at 20 here. Oh, let's see, 121. There we go. All right, let's kick it off. So just a reminder, and if you're looking for this, or if you're like, well, maybe I will do that, you can always find it over on our Twitter feed. Just a reminder that these discount codes have to be in all caps. We've had a few people say it's not working. Is it all caps? Yeah. So there's that. Now we're going to start here. As those of you that have participated in any of these streams before, know what we're doing here. Just to quickly refresh you on this. So the members, this can be either social or educational members. If you're social, you've got access to everything without access to the blue belt and above. But certainly you can participate in all the polls. So we poll the members looking for what is on their watch list, what they're interested in, what they're tracking, where are they applying what they're learning. And I always will, kind of tease it as in what are you itching to buy right now in terms of good setup. So it serves two functions for us. One, it gives us a chance to kind of review how they're progressing technically with regards to our methodology. Ours is just one, but it's what we're teaching. So we want to see, are they internalizing? Can they apply it? Do they understand it? And it's not so much to correct, but maybe offer additional ideas. Or if I see something that's a glaring mistake, I might draw their attention to it. But it's never to be critical. It's always just to explore and get a feel for how they're approaching the market. And then applying our methodology, which is really built around three pillars. But the benefit for anyone watching the live stream is you're getting, hundreds of people looking through the same technical lens at the market. So there's great opportunity here for setups that might interest you, or as I often say, can't watch everything. So this is a nice scan, if you will, of setups that might be of interest to anyone watching. And if you're watching, I'm going to assume you have some basic appreciation for Elliott Wave. And while that's one of the three core pillars of our methodology, it is, as I always will remind people, it is not the first pillar. It's just one of three. So we apply it when it's useful. When it's not, it's not essential to be successful trading, certainly, right? I think everybody would agree. It's just if it adds value and it helps in the decision-making process, then we apply it. If it doesn't, then we certainly do plenty with just fib relationships, swing relationships, and then geometry, of course, is really one of the foundations of what we're doing. So with all that said, that's probably enough. So here, first up is, let me get over to the channel here where I can see what everybody's doing. Okay, so this is from handle is Bo Liony, and you can see it right here on he keeps that handle over on TradingView. So he's looking at Siacoin. Now I haven't looked at Siacoin in a while. So he's using a 3-day here on Poloniex. I'm always kind of curious why you do calculated by TradingView on Poloniex, but nonetheless, it did have the most history, and this is kind of an interesting choice that he's made here, Bo Liony. And I get what he's thinking here. So we don't have enough to really say for sure, okay, we're in the midst of an impulse. What we can see is 5, kind of a long winding, but there certainly would be complexity into that. it's not your classic, oh, here's the easy threes that we can see. Then here's the, this is a little bit hard to see. And he sent me a link here that I can't work with. I can't. He may have just grabbed the wrong link or is not quite clear on how to do this so that we can see it. So what I did is I just brought it up over here. Now, if I'm fairly sure he's in log. This is in log here. And so his thought is that, I'm going to bring this down. So certainly one thought could be 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Possible. His thought is, since we can't get there, we can't assume that potentially this is just an ABC, right? You guys have heard me go off on this many times, right? This is all the market ever does, right there. That's all it ever does, right? One way or the other. Now there can be a lot of complexity to it, but that's all it ever does. And if it turns into a 5, it's just this becomes the 1 of the 3. That's all the market ever does, which if you simplify it that way, I think it can help just clear your thinking, because that's what we're looking for, right? Again, as I've said many times, the genius stroke of Elliott's discovery was the 5s and the 3s. And it just helps you in that decision-making process, because it allows us to eliminate possibilities. Now, that doesn't mean that you're by eliminating something that what you've chosen through that process of elimination becomes inevitable, right? Quite the contrary. It helps us with probabilities, because that's all we ever get is just probabilities of patterns that have shown to repeat historically. Because Elliott Wave is not about the underlying market. It's funny. I saw a lot of comments like this from the Bitcoin video we did. And I see it repeatedly. Oh, Elliott Wave doesn't work in crypto, doesn't work on Bitcoin. Well, that's a interesting statement to make, because it's not about the asset. It's about human beings, right? It's about crowd dynamics. It's about fear and greed. That's what Elliott Wave is about. Doesn't work on crypto. That's a foolish stance to take, because it's just crowd dynamics. It's just fear and greed. That's all it is. It's the underlying asset is completely irrelevant. It really, that's why I always say, you put me in front of any chart, it doesn't matter. I'm going to approach it the same way, because I know that crowd dynamics are always here, right? Greed, fear, greed, fear. That's all it is, right? In the herd mentality. So just keep an open mind to that, because it's not about what something works or not. Whether it works or not is going to be a function of how you as the pilot. That's what determines whether it works or not. Is there any confusion here about whether or not we have a 5? Is that difficult? No. Right now here, so it is always the case with Elliott Wave. The impulses, the 5s, are the easy part. The hard part are all the corrections. Right now, this is a at this point, I don't know that it really even matters, right? But this is a difficult correction to try and count. Difficult, right? It looks like you probably have to go, probably be a double here, because this is what makes it tricky. So you've got here's the COVID low, right? So it looked like you might have been able to finish here with maybe a prolonged ABC, but with this little kicker and a new low here, you'd probably have to work backwards and go, all right, well, that'd probably be a 3. So this would have to be a Z. X, you're kind of working back. So a W, X, Y, X, Z would be my guess here. But does it really matter right now? So I'm not going to dwell on this, but there are 24 different types of corrections you have to deal with as an Elliottian, and all the difficulty of Elliott is always found in the corrections. So with that said, we can just look here and say, okay, well, did I need Elliott Wave to determine whether or not this might be a potential support zone just looking left? Well, I think probably not well. This does break the golden zone from the pivot low. So the COVID extreme, probably part of that. But that said, right now we look over here and we go, okay, well, clearly this is a significant low. That's the COVID low. You could probably make a pretty solid case here that you got 5 coming off of that. Oh, just working backwards. If that's your 5, looks like that's your 3, 4. So I just kind of roughly kind of lay it out like that. Okay, does that help me? Well, yeah, it does kind of help me, because it tells me that coming off of that low, I've got something impulsive. So I've got the ingredients here for a trend change. You might have said the same thing here. It almost looks like there's a 5 here, but when that follows it, Well, you just got to put it into context. Okay, all part of the same correction. All right, so here we go. So what are we looking for? If I want to identify this as a good low, well, do I get 5 coming off of it? That's really all you're asking yourself. As to where exactly what that is, it's not. This is a 3-day. It really doesn't matter, right? Do I have 5? Yeah, I got 5, right? So I have the ingredients here for the start of a new trend, right? Oh, come here. So what do we do here? What do we look? We're looking for a 2, a little shallow. Well, let's get that in here. A little shallow, right? But in crypto, shallow 2s are pervasive, right? Now that's probably a little far for a front run. But it just looks like it just came into the support and it kicked out of there. But we can see the 3. So again, keep it simple. I got 5 followed by 3. All right, that doesn't take an advanced degree to figure that out. That's not that hard. Okay, so I got the ingredients here for the start of a new trend. Okay, well, if look at the proportion. Well, if I'm thinking 1, 2, right? So which would be reasonable to think there. Whether it's A, B, C, and we're trying to finish a 5 in the C. This is the proportion here. So if you're looking at, why would you not put the 1 there, right? Why would you not use it? Why would you just put a blind eye to say, oh, fuck, crypto, LA doesn't apply in crypto. So again, here, does it help us? Yeah. Okay. 1, 2. Well, if I'm thinking 1, 2, I'm anticipating a bigger next wave. Right? That's what I'm anticipating. So the fact that we get it should then have you start leaning into the idea, okay, well, it's probably pretty good evidence to suggest I've got a 1, 2 here. Now, we're looking for the high probability zone for a 3. You guys heard me say this 1,000 times, is between the 178 and the 1618 and 175. All right, yeah, we get a little through it. It's a zone, it's a target range. It doesn't have to be to the tick, although we see it to the tick often. Algorithms likely. Or, it's why does this work, right? So people say, why do these fit? Why are these so consistent? Well, in modern trading, likely this is very algo driven, but you could just deduce from yourself from all the places that Fibonacci just Google Fibonacci in nature, science, just Google it. I mean, the Mona Lisa is drawn to a perfect Fibonacci spiral, right? It's just the human eye, what that looks like. It could be just, again, crowd dynamics. That looks like it's gone far enough. I mean, that's why I was working pre-algos. Be my guess, right? You don't know, right? We never know. We never know what's next. Don't get confused by that. But this gives me a probable location from the 3rd. Okay, based on probabilities and patterns that repeat over time, what I know about Fibonacci in the market and what I know about how human beings respond to the golden ratio. Okay, I'll plant the 3 there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, well, this is starting to look a little tricky coming down. All right, it looks more like a 5, right? At first glance out here on a 5, it looks more like a 5, but we can't have the 5 here per rules and guidelines. So can I make it work as a 3? It's a semi-force fit, right? So there's 2 possibilities here. If this is going to go up here, and right now the odds would favor, right? We've got a set of median lines here. The odds that would favor that we're going to go up. So you got to work backwards and say, well, could I make it work? Well, you certainly could get an ABC here. This is shallow for the X. Very shallow for the X. You might, again, I don't know that it matters out here at this on a 3-day here if we go down to smaller time frames. But I've got a technical pivot here. So let me get some of this off of here. Swing, retrace. And again, I've shown that so many times. I like to think that we don't have to wonder what happened there. Let me get this one out of there. Okay, right to the golden zone, not the 618. In between the 618 and the 65. So that's my signature trade. So what do we have? Golden corner pocket. Right? We know we have 80% odds, right? I say this all the time because I have to emphasize this. As long as that pivot holds, we've got 80% odds of getting there. Now, that's not 100%, that's 80%, but I'll take that in the market anytime I can get it. So we've got that probability working for us. We have geometry. We know an algorithm kicked in here, right? We don't have to wonder about that. Now, does it get to target? Well, of course, it's going to have to get through the algorithm on the other side. And never forget, there's always an algo on the other side, right? Because they don't care which way it goes. They're just trying to make money, right? So what do we bump into right here? right? Another golden zone. So right now it's just sitting in a box, right? Which way does it go? Well, one side has to break, right? Or we go sideways forever. So just because you have a golden zone doesn't mean it doesn't break, but it's not surprising that we get a little reaction here. That could be a front run, but they will. Well, let's if I tighten that up. It's really actually tighter than it looks. So golden zone to golden zone. That's such common market behavior. It's happening every day. I've said this many times on every time frame in every asset class. Doesn't matter, right? The underlying asset is right where I started. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. That's why I don't have to go through all of this and look at all of these ahead of time, because the underlying asset doesn't matter. You approach it the same way, whether I'm looking at crypto or traditionals or equities or Forex, it doesn't matter, right? It's all the same, right? It's all human behavior, right? That's all it is. Crowd dynamics, fear and greed. That's all we're talking about. So say it doesn't work, right? I mean, if anything, the fear and the greed is pronounced in crypto. All right, so we got a candidate here. 1, 2 could be a 3, right? We don't know it, but it could be. Now we got to squeeze a little bit here for the WXY, but let's not ignore the possibility that this is actually a 5 because it looks more like a 5. Well, we have 5 down here. Well, we could have 3 up here, right? And we're going to have something like that. So we might end up with a zigzag. Maybe it goes down lower. We don't know. But right now, you got to pick a side or you don't trade. Now, right now, between two golden zones, okay, so you have to make an assumption that one side is going to break or the other. So let me pull that out of here. 1, 2, 3. All right. So how can we help further nail down what's most probable? Well, right now, I've got a good 3. I've got a candidate for my 5. I prefer this to stay in an impulse, but this is a little sloppy. Go down to a daily, see if it improves it any. We don't have to be long. Well, let's stay in long. Let's stay consistent. So from here, this is not you'd have to work backwards. Okay, so that looks like that's your 4, top of your 3. You got this wick here. When I see that, right, you guys, not a bad thought to start looking here. Is there another way I could look at this? Can I see it a little better if I'm just looking at a line that closes? Well, that 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5 of the 3. I kind of go back and forth because this is kind of throwing off your eye in terms of what's really coming here. So it's too much data here. So if we dig in there, okay, can I get a 1? It's a little, when you see this, these are usually coins with less volume, right? So it's a little sloppy when I see this. Sidecoin used to be, I think it had more traction than now, maybe making a comeback here. So could that be the 3? Well, of course, right? Same thing, right? So just like you did over here, you do the exact same thing. Well, if it's the 3, I'm certainly going to be curious to see what happens when we get to the 618. Get this dialed in here. Okay, 1, 2. All right, I'm coming out of a golden zone. I got a target. 1, 2. Now that's not a great looking. Looks like you'd have to dig the 1, 2 here. So it looks the wick is kind of a fly in the ointment. Looks like you'd have to go here. Maybe, right? Maybe, right? It's not quite there. Here's if I draw it, right? So we've got the 1618 and with the golden zone and the 1618, 175 right in the pocket here, right at a high volume node. So you could anticipate, right? Again, you can anticipate some resistance here. So perhaps not a great spot if you're interested in being a buyer here. Really, all you would deduce from this is, well, hey, maybe not a great spot to be entering the market. Maybe not a great spot, right? So we're retracement traders. So I would look for this 5 to complete. Okay, a candidate, right? It's nothing more than a candidate for a 3. All right, do I have another potential? Oh, let's put that. Let's just go to default here. Get off the runners here. So again, from here, do you see the 80% is already burned here, right? So you've eaten your 80% there. Now, it doesn't mean we couldn't hit it again, but you've already got that 80%. So I would keep this and hide it, but I would refer back to it if we keep kicking up higher because I want to have that target. I know I've got the bigger target up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could be a 3. That's all you can say right now. That could be a 3. Certainly, it's got the distance, right? Here's our second most common zone, 38,127 for the 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could be. So if you get that and you get the resistance here, which looks like we might, we look below. All right, RSI is strong. Clearly, we're trending, right? Anything above this, we're trending. So you're just kind of waiting for the retracement, right? Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. You see, if you're a retracement trader, you have to be at peace with that deal. You're making the deal with yourself that if this doesn't retrace and it just keeps going, I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss that. Well, then you go, shit, man, I don't want to miss that. So what happens? You see somebody on Twitter says something, or you read something, you go, fuck it, I'm just going to long right into it. You know, that's an impulsive decision, right? So you would really want to be backing that up with either some very strong on-chain metrics that you might lean into, but the technicals would suggest that while it certainly could go through, this would not be a strategic place to be adding to longs or entering the market, because this is what we teach, right? You agree, disagree. I want to see that retrace and come back down here, maybe some support down here, because if this finishes, unless we're going to go and double top, right, which is always a possibility. Right, if that's the 3, and we're working on the 5, okay, well that's got a long way to go, because I know I have that probability of getting here. Well, so certainly we have an algo driving us up here. Well, if that's 3, 4, and the 5 stays within norms of wave relationships, unless I'm going to get a monster kicker here in the 5, you look at it and you say, well, okay, is there another count that might work here? Well, one possibility is that we're just putting in the 1 of the 5, right? So this could be 1, 2. Oh shit! You could probably do this a couple of different ways. 3, 4, 5 of the 1. Just you've got a very big 1, 2, which makes me think this is more likely still the 3. So if you're looking for the 4, again, you see, it could be the 1 is done, right? It could be, right? But you don't have a great impulse in the middle, so probabilities are that it's still working on finishing the 3, unless we finished right here, right? Which is certainly possible. So is the 3 in? Okay, we're a little shy of the 1618, but not by much. So you're sitting here. Okay, watch list, right? Watch list. Right, that's where I'm looking for it. So it's not complicated. Okay, so let's put an alert right here, and so I put it in your watch list over right here. And when that alert fires, do you like it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Well, so we know this. If this is going to hold, let's take that off. If this is going to hold as an impulse, we could get a diagonal, and this is kind of sloppy. Might turn into a diag. Maybe, you don't know, but you've got enough to work with here to put together a trading idea. Now that's the target. We know this target is based off of this pivot, but again, in the back of your head, you got to recognize that, well, hey, this sure could have been a 5, right? So something would be changing across the alt space, or something very specific to Siacoin, or I don't know if you see a coin or Siacoin, whatever's going on there. If the broader space is going down, well, then this would make sense. You can understand, we're starting into the 4. If alts just keep ripping and this is not following suit, then I'd be cautious here. But right now, with everything in crypto just blazing, this seems like something to be watching for. So all you need is just that small pullback, right? That's all you're after. You know you're at resistance there. So anything down here, so you can keep it simple as you can. Well, there's the Vegas wave. All right, we come into some of this. All right, it's reasonable, right? It's just pure, simple price action. It's not complicated. Okay, prior resistance, support. Oh, now we're going to do support again. Well, we'd be looking for. Let me get that out of there. Just same thing every time, right? I try and tell you guys that's the value of doing it the same way every time. Regardless of the asset. God, I almost said irregardless. My wife would have smacked me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we get a big 5, or are we just putting in the 1 here, and it's going to end up doing something bigger, right? So I don't know enough about Siacoin to really think that that's coming, but certainly could be 1, 2. What we'd be anticipating a bigger 3, 4. 5. I just ran out of space. Maybe we get the second target. Here's the first target for that algo right here. Here's the second. Maybe we get it. Maybe we get median line. But is this a trade to keep on your radar? Well, I wouldn't go into it blindly. I'd want to know a little bit more about where Siacoin is and what they're doing. God, I used to know, but I've forgotten, to tell you the truth. Just structure again. Keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Where's the 5? Where's the 3? Does that look like a 5? Well, it sure looks more like a 5 that's underway, but we have the problem of this looking. So this might be one you go, well, because I'm not sure, I just keep looking. This is definitely a bit of a force fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks cleaner. 1, 2, 3. But then again, if it's going down, why is Siacoin going down and the rest of crypto is going up, right? Or is everything coming down together? this would be watch list for me. And I'd be looking down here. And if crypto is going to stay strong and maybe we get a little pullback, just day to day, you don't know. But I certainly would have something here that I would trade, and I'd be reasonable about that stop. I'd probably use the 1 under the 50 here, because see, the reason I say that is unless you're looking for a long-term play, this would be a reasonable spot to put it. I see. I'd always rather take the small loser. I'd take the small loser again, as I like to use the boxing analogy. Okay, that's not a knockout punch. All right, I can take a jab. Right, I got in the ring. I expect to get hit. I can take a small stop. Then I can reevaluate. Do I still like it as much here? Can I dig into that subdivision, and can I be a buyer a little bit lower? Maybe we're just going to do a 50, and we're not going to overlap the 1. We maintain. We maintain the impulse. All right. Probably draw another set of median lines, right? Once we get a pivot here, you could draw one off the 1, 2. Maybe you draw another one here from the 2 and the 3, and you're just looking for geometry targets. That's all you're after, right? Can I get another one here, right? Can I get that 80% right there? Well, you got that right there. Okay, I just completed another impulse, but am I going to truncate the 5 here? Probably not. So one of two things is happening here. If we go back to Boliani's count, he's making the deduction here that, well, this certainly could be an ABC, because you can't tell the distinction between here out at this degree. We've got 5, we've got something corrective, and now we're starting on another 5. So why couldn't it be ABC? Well, certainly it could be. Now, if it's kind of rose-colored glasses or your crypto-colored glasses. What I see is I see a 1, 2, 1, 2, but he's saying, well, not so fast. Why couldn't it be an ABC? I don't know that I'd be looking to be a seller here, right? Because there's not enough history to say, well, we don't know that we're correcting anything, right? There's nothing to come through and say, oh, that ABC is correcting something that came before. We don't have that. So my guess is that Bioloni is offering this up as one scenario. We're going to complete a 3, right? Remember, that's all the market ever does, right? There it is, right in front of your face, right? That's all you do. That's all it ever does. Right. So if we're doing that, well, if it goes up here and we get that, that could be just a 3, but 4, do we get a 5? Right. Which is just another 3 that's attached to it. Do we get that? Well, you don't know, but can you trade this right here? Can you be getting long? Well, again, I wouldn't get long right here because we're just right at the golden zone. Give me a little retrace. Well, now then you see the benefit there, because we know that's a golden zone. Well, I want to be long before I get there. I don't want to long it at the golden zone. We know an algorithm's going to be active there. Again, doesn't mean it can't get through, but be a little more strategic. I want to be long going into it so that if I get rejected hard there, at least I've got some bank already and I can tighten up. Now, see, when you get here, if you bought it down here and you're long, well, you can't get hurt. They can't hurt you here. It doesn't matter how hard that falls. If you're here and you're disciplined about maintaining a stop, and maybe you lock in some profits, some of these structure levels. So the worst case scenario is you only make a portion of what you thought you might make, and but certainly could re-enter the market. It doesn't have to be I'm in and we're off to the moon every time. I mean, you sure got a nice rip here, but see, this is why you don't say, oh, I'm just going to stick with it, because you gave back 65% of what you made here, right? Why do that? Why, if you can dig out a 5 here, once it starts, well, here's where you would be cautious, right? When we start this, and now it starts to come down right there. It could have been, we could have been done there. Could have been. So you'd start to get cautious at this level. Once we here, breaking the golden zone, right? Look all the way up. Pardon me. Breaking the Vegas wave. Now the break of the Vegas wave, not insignificant. Look how it held it all the way up, right? So you can just look at that and say, all right, well, it's pretty reasonable to deduce from that this is a self-contained impulse, right? It's not complicated. Actually, I don't even know it matters, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he had an extension in the 5th. Maybe you get the same thing here. Maybe this goes like that. And now that would be actually trickier here. So you get third target here. Now, did you complete? Well, if you've got a self-contained impulse here, the assumption would be I completed something. So you'd throw the 5 up here. You'd put the 4 would be here. I have to take that up a degree. The bigger 4 would be here. Now, did I finish? Well, probably. But you never know, right? You don't know you don't know, right? Because that could easily turn into that. Now I got a 5, right? So you can't, we start with a 5. So if I get that, right, but what you're looking for, again, it's just probabilities. Okay, I just finished a 5. So if I pull that all the way back out, okay, I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I finished it. I'm looking for a 3. But I'm looking for a 3 relative to this low. So it gives me a framework instead of just going randomly, oh, swing, fuck, I don't know what to do there. I don't know, draw some lines on it. It gives you a framework to work within. Right now, if you fuck it up, that's pilot error. If you're just saying, well, I don't use stops. I'm just balls deep in everything I go. Sooner or later, that's going to hurt you, right? If you're trading with leverage, right, that's just foolish, right? Now, if you're just longing the spot and you're like, hey, I'm in for the next 3 to 5 years, okay, but don't buy it right at a golden zone. Let it retrace, get a better entry, and if it goes here and you miss, right? So if this keeps going, at some point, right, just because it's human nature, has nothing to do with the underlying asset. The people that are long from here or here or here are going to go, all right, that's enough for me. I'm going to take some profit, and that's what starts the retracement. That's why the concept that Elliott Wave doesn't work in crypto is just, well, I would advise you not to think that way. All right. Okay. All right. God, I go way too long on these. Bailoni, your work is good. And I like that you're not making assumptions here. Right now, all we can deduce from this, I got a candidate for a 3. But the 3 is typically in the context of correcting something. So, yeah, I can. Oh. Okay, well, just remind me, and I'll be sure to get to that. Just if you'll keep a little folder, or just on the sideline, yeah, I'll definitely get to that. Thanks, whoever tipped. Right, we'll definitely get there because I think we've got, I don't know, 7 or 8 from members. All right, so as I usually do, I go on way too long because I get on a rant here. So, but Bailoni, I like your thinking there. Right, if it turns into a 5, all the better. But I get really what I'm trying to do is just to teach a little bit through this here, so you start to get there's some structure to what you're doing. And that's really what the benefit of Elliott Wave. It's giving you a context to work within. So you're not randomly going, well, fuck, man, I don't know. Is it this pivot? Is it this pivot? Is this pivot? How do I know? Well, we never know. No one knows where it's going to go. Right? We can all think where it's going to go. And then we can apply these tools and say, well, based on the probabilities that I know, i.e. 80% probability, okay, I'm thinking here, I want to get long, but I don't want to necessarily, here, this is the thing I try and tell you guys all the time. You don't have to be down here with a limit order. You don't have to pick the turn. The money is made in the middle of the trend, right? Sure, someone bought it there, but you don't have to be that guy. Okay, I got a candidate here, but shit, that sure looked like a 5. But who says that can't go down? You don't know, but this is the place where you want to be a buyer, because I promise you, as I've said this many, many times, the sellers are trying to get the stops right there, right? Because that's their fuel to take it down further. And if they can't get it, right, this is always, right, this is why 2s and Bs happen, because they want to get those stops right there. So your assumption is, okay, the pivot low is in, because you're making the assumption this is not going to break. So I want to buy as close to that as I possibly can so that the risk is so much smaller. Now, because they can't get that, the bears can't get that pivot to run those stops to take it down further, what happens? They got to cover. Oh, shit. Now it starts to go. Now the crowd starts to come. Greed kicks in. Right, which, here, I'm going to date myself here with Wall Street. As Gordon Gekko said, greed is good. Right, because greed is what's driving that. Right, greed, you don't necessarily associate it with a negative. It has that connotation, but that's what's driving it here. I want that to go higher. It's good for me if that goes higher. Is that greed? Well, ultimately, right, we have to we have to, if we're going to give it an emotional context. Yeah, that's greed right there. What's this? Fear. Oh shit, man. I bought it down here. I don't want to give all that back. Fear. Stops. Get me out. That's what creates the corrections. It's human behavior, it's not crypto. Oh, crypto follows its own. As long as people are trading crypto, Elliott Wave is going to be rampant for time eternal. Unless it's 100% bots, which, what are we, 90+% algos now in the market? Traditional markets, probably just as pervasive in crypto. All right, well, Bailoni, you're looking good, man. And I like it. I hadn't looked at Sia Coin in forever, right? So do a little digging onto this, right? If this goes on your watch list, don't trade it blindly. Understand what the hell they're doing, because I don't remember. I used to know, like, damn it, I can't remember. So many coins, so little time. All right, I think this is a new member. The handle is Al-Nawi. Okay, interesting. All right, people are creative with their handles. So Al-Nawi is giving me TRB to the US dollar. So I don't recognize that. Let's see how actually I want it here in case I have to redo it. So a new member posting up, right? I always like to see that. I never know, right, when new members come in, if they're coming in with a lot of Elliott experience or very little. And it does not matter to me what's on the chart, right? I just like to see where they are. So it gives me a sense of where they are with their own TA. It looks like he's got lots of experience. That's a new handle, I think, Monty, isn't it? I don't recognize him. Social member, right? So there you go, right? Social can always post in here as well. So this is so right off the bat, right? I already love the guy. I already love what I'm seeing, right? So again, he's taken the time to work through every pivot, right? So every swing is accounted for. So this is just a great representation of what we're teaching. So what do we see here? We see fib relationships, we see market geometry, and we see an Elliott count to give it some context. So we're not sure, say C said, not sure if this is completed, right? Could be completed, could be an expanded B, could be we're done and we're going to rip up to this 3. But this is just great technical work. Just what I hope to see, particularly from a new member. So I know he's put some work in it. He's not coming to this without having spent some time studying Elliott Wave. So great start here with a kind of a tricky little one, right? Looks like this. Oh, he's definitely got some experience, right? So this is tricky, right? So that you'd have to call that 3. So you'd have to come down here, expand the B, but he's doing it through a WXY. So you see we get 3 here. Remember, right? Again, I try to just emphasize this. So you get, even though there's complexity to this, it's still just a 3. Right. But now this is unusual, right? That we get that's again, giving it context. Elliott gives us a solution for that. It gives a solution. But what is that made of? Just 3, 3, 3. That's all we're doing there is just connecting 3s, right? So we know we're not advancing the trend. So in its simplest form, you could just say we're struggling to start a trend, right? We open, hits the exchange straight down. Typical, right? It's typical what happens, right? It goes straight down. Now it forms a base down here. Okay, can we get out of the hole down here and get something going? Well, it's starting a new trend. It's going to take some energy down here. So do we have it? Nope. All right, back down we go, right? We can't do it yet. So this is very typical for the start of a trend. Now, once it starts going, damn well there are a bunch of stops up here, right? Look, right, there's the double top, right, for the breakout trader. Oh, I'm going to front run it. This again, I try and teach you guys this, right? So, I'm going to front run it because I know we're going. So if you're levered that, you probably got spanked pretty hard there. What I try and teach you guys here is while I have to emphasize this, you are going to miss some because some are going to go. Right? It's not like no breakout has ever gone, of course, right? You're going to miss some. The idea is to be strategic over time. You're much better to look at that. Oh, if I can fatten this thing up. All right, let's get all of this structure down here. Now let's pull that over. Okay, so when this went here, you might have, God damn it, that guy told me not to buy that. And look how far that's gone. Patience, because look where we come right back to. Now, again, not every time is he going to do that, but you can understand. This is why I tell you, just wait, right? You don't have to get every little push in the market. That's not your objective. Your objective is to be profitable over time. And you don't want to go through the God, this thing's killing me. God, then you can't sleep until you're checking your phone every 12 seconds. That thing's got to go. It's got to go. You don't need to, trading doesn't need to be that stressful. If you're strategic about it, right? Which is why, because there's no mistake I have not made. I've been that guy going, oh God, please God, bring that back. I'll never do it again. Please. That's the trader's prayer, right? Just like over the porcelain throne, right? Oh God, I'll never drink again. Just get me through this hangover, please. Just a little patience. Why can I say that? Because the people that bought it down here, eventually, once it starts to get a little weakness, fear, right? They're going to take profit, right? Oh, these guys trying to get lower pivots, can't get it. All those stops get filled, right? Now the crowd comes in. So if you're just patient, a little more patient, you're going to miss some. You don't have to catch every pump in the market. So we got a nice 1, 2, 3. So looking at that, so hey, wait a minute, we overlapped the one. We had this complex start to it. Well, I can see another. Look, note here. Well, this is interesting what he's doing here. So my guess is because he's got Elliott skills already, that he's working a 5-3, 5-3, 5 diagonal. So because he's got a 5 in here. So even though the 4 overlaps, because he's got skills already, my guess is that he knows that's a contender. Right now, some people disagree with whether or not that's actually anything that Elliott put into his writings, but there's no place where he didn't say that wasn't possible. Like you can't have a 5-3-5 leading diag. So we knows that, right? So he's done some research and some reading. So because we get a 5 here and it's not an impulse, he's going with a 5-3, 5-3, 5 diagonal. So as we finish up here, we get a candidate. It's just that, okay, I got a candidate for a 1 because the broader structure here is a 5, right? But it's a diagonal. Remember, the fives are easier to spot, right? To solve the corrections where it's tricky. Now we get 5 down, 3 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, where are we there? That's so we're going to do this is pretty recent. Oh, I'm looking at a 4-hour. I was thinking looking at a daily. So off of this, where are we right here? That's a 707. So we get a deeper retracement. So it makes it more probable to be a 2, but given the depth of that retracement, and because I get a diag to start it. So when you're up here, what do I'm looking for the 3. Where is it? I'm looking for the 3. Do I have it here? You might have thought you did. You might have. Right. So let's say you thought that it was done here and you're going to go, oh shit, how could we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that would have been tricky. Well, you might have thought, hey, maybe I'm work this into a WXY, right? So maybe you were thinking at this point in time that was A, B, C. Would have been easy to think that. Now, coming out of the chute here, possibly a diag, right? You might have thought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might have been, okay, I got a leading diag. I just did a larger diag. So maybe I got another diag coming here. So we don't want to pick the turn. We want to wait for that to come down here. So I got a candidate. Maybe it's a 2 and we go here. Well, if your stop is here, they came down, they got you, right? Now, maybe you left a little room and you dodged a bullet there because now you could look at that and say there's a 4. So if you took the stop, okay, well, now you reevaluate. I mean, you're not every one of these is going to be perfect, right? Some of these are going to come down. You're going to hit a double bottom, right? Double bottoms, double tops, pervasive in the market, right? Market makers, people that can move the market know that there are going to be stops on those pivots, right? So that's why I tell you right down here, when they can't get it, that's what creates the backlash, right? So they tap it, but they don't break it, right? So double bottoms used to be a real weakness of mine. So now I'm looking for them all the time. I used to get burned by them, but now I look for them. So I'm cautious when we're putting in a double bottom here, but you can, again, no, draw it over, right? So if you missed this, God damn it, right? So if you didn't get this one, came all the way back to where it started. Now here, this is a little trickier here. This would have been easy to get left with your mouse in your hand. We do get a new low here, so we can confirm that it's that the 5 completes down here, but you get a really skinny, and this is like what Bitcoin's been doing. You're getting a very, very skinny 2. That would have been hard to call that, right? So if you were sitting here, this would have been a tough one to say, okay, well, I can see the 5, right? I can see I get a 5, right? So I've got a 1, but you'd be looking for something deeper. Now, hopefully you might have looked left and said, well, could I be running into some support? But that's easy in hindsight to say that, right? You'd have been thinking deeper. I'm going to take this out here, right? Not everyone's going to be that perfect little ABC that's going to take you down. So you might have missed. Oh, well, it looks like, hey, maybe I got a 3 here. Double top, double bottom. Do you see it right here? It runs into a double top, right? Even this, I'd call a double top, right? This doesn't have to be to the tick, right? When you get close, Right? Caution, right? Because these are pervasive in the market and people take advantage of retail, particularly when you get that. So there's 5 that's up. Now, you'd probably miss this one. So you got the 2 right now. Once this comes, well, let's measure that just out of curiosity. I'm going to guess he would have already done that. If I get right on that pivot. Okay, we're just shy of the 618, which is our high probability zone. Looks like maybe the double top, right, is why we come up short. But again, it's a zone. It doesn't have to be to the tick. We're looking for something in that range, right? That's close enough to call it a 3, certainly. And we actually break that little pivot. Now we get here. All right. A little complexity there. You'd probably have to call that a WXY, ABC, WXY, because it's not a clean 3. So a little tricky there. We're sitting at the no, we're sitting at, what is that? That's not the POC. Is it? No, I don't think it's, what is that? Because it's moving. I'm not sure what he's got that tied to, but I'll keep moving here. I'll get bogged down. 3, it looks like you'd have to go with 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4 overlap. So it ends with a diag. So you'd likely, come here, wick that off as your candidate for your 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 overlap. So you got another diag. So odds are most probable. Actually, a candidate would have been do it this way. You might have had that. Because then you can finish with that cleaner 5. But it almost doesn't matter right now. As we sit here looking at it, see how we're all self-contained within that channel? Now, what are his nodes? Not sure if we completed. Because it's a little, you're all self-contained in that channel, but the odds are here with the break of it, we've started the correction, right? We start with a 5. So is that the B? Well, look at that reaction there. You'd have to do it this way. It looks like you'd have to go, oh, shit. Let's see, A, B, C to get that. So you'd have to do, can you dig that out? Oh boy, that talk about some support down there. You got this nice little zone down here. Oh shit, I can't. Must be Monday. Nice little structure down here. Then we get the big rip. So because that's not a great looking, I'd be watching this really closely because this is where you would ideally want to be a buyer if you could get it. Is that? Oh, I got it. Okay, so this is the POC. I was wondering why that was moving. Okay, so a candidate for the B, because this looks much more like a 5, right? So that you see, so you look at this and say, okay, well, based on that, I can deduce that this is most likely a B wave here. Doesn't mean this can't be a 1, 2, and we're gonna, you're gonna have to. Well, you can see the 3, and God, that's tough. That's gonna be tough to. So I'd be leaning here because this looks like such a clean 5. I'd be leaning into the B right now. We could get a running flat, right? You could come into some of this structure. It might be something like that. You could get a running flat here. All this would come here, but you don't know. So how do you know? Well, you'd be looking for 5. 5, 3, 5. Do I finish it with a 5? Well, we don't have enough to work with yet. So this would be. Although it looks like that might be a 50. Right to a 50. Common, right? So that could be 1, 2. Oh, we're on. This was a tricky one. This would be watch list, but I'd want a little more reveal here. Because this, as he's saying, right, not sure if this is done or not. Right? So what's the alternative? You don't really have one because this would be such a force fit to call that a 3. I would just be watching this cook. I don't think it's ready yet. This needs more time in the oven. But note here the retest of the underside of the channel, very, very, very common, right? So come back here. This you might have thought here, but to retest it again, so you have good resistance here. Anything that comes down here, but you can't even go. You don't really have it there. There's not enough to work with there. So just this free fall wick, I wait for that to settle down myself, right? I don't want to get wicked in or out of anything. That I wouldn't be a buyer here. I wouldn't be a seller here. This just needs more reveal. Maybe that's 1, 2. That's not it looks like you can get it. So you'd look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like you get 1. God, you'd have to do W. So you'd have to go A, B, C, X, A, B, C. So you have to go W, X, Y. You'd have to put the 2 here. Not a great looking 3. Maybe. All right, that's not enough shaping there to really call it a 4. So I'd just be watching this one. I don't know TRB. I don't know what they do or what part of the space that they're in. So would require a little digging into it, right? What sector of the space are they in, and how do they rank amongst their competitors, right? How are they doing? What's causing this? Why is this just rising tide, or is there something specific about TRB? I don't know enough about what they do. Well, here's what I conclude. This would be one definitely for your watch list. This looks Al-Nawahi. This is great work, just fantastic work. But I don't think there's a trade here. Unless you just want to take the algo play and say, okay, I think we can get up here to 74. The Elliott would keep you waiting, cook that correction a little bit more. Or, right, of course, the other possibility is that's the B, and we're going to come down for a C. So I'd be watching this one. Definitely one for the watch list. Keep an eye on it, but that's not enough to make a solid trading decision. Well, I mean, you could trade it, right, and put a stop under that pivot. I'm not saying don't trade it. If you're chomping at the bit and you love this and you've done the research and you know what they're about and why they might pump from here beyond just crypto's pumping, have at it. But certainly be reasonable about where your stop placement is. This is all the congestion. Pretty good support down here, so you kind of do this. A pretty good support zone. That's where you'd like to see that 2 come in. So if you wait for it, is that 1-2 going in? It's just, there's not enough there to call it yet. But you got that, and now you're right there. That's what you're looking for. Right. That'd be my suggestion. Watch list, but fantastic work. Right. Welcome aboard, Al-Manahi. That's really good stuff. Okay, let me keep moving. Master Shifu always posts something quality. Let me see what we get here. Okay. I will not forget about the tip one we got, and we will circle back here. I think I've only got 4 more. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're good. Altcoin index perpetual futures. Oh, I don't think I've seen this. So is this a proxy for total 2? I'm not seeing this one before. Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, FTX, right there. They're leaders in the space. It wouldn't surprise me that they're doing something like that. So, okay, so good example here. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there's any. Do we have any count on this? Oh man. Oh, okay. So looks like he's doing Monty. Okay, so this is good, right? So this is kind of a good look at what my partner's approach is, which is identifying the long-term support and resistance. So going all the way out to monthly data, weekly data, daily data, down to the hourly. So you can see all the potential support and resistance that's in here. As it would sit with a traditional Elliott approach. Well, all you've got is a pivot to work with here. So you probably just safely deduce here, right? We've got something impulsive here, and now we've worked through the correction. So this looks, it's not quite like Bitcoin. Top 10. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've not seen this index before. Well, it's kind of cool. So it's a little choppy, sloppy down here. So you see the wicks getting through the golden zone here. Just out of curiosity, how we look in log, if I can open this up a little bit, right? So see, the benefit of log is it's just open because it opens up everything down below, because it's based on percentage. So the candidate here, right, this is much like Bitcoin. Is it 1-2 or is it 1-2-1-2, right? Or is this the one, a tricky one? But either way, I think you could pretty safely call all of this just a self-contained impulse. Now, here's the correction. So are we done here? Well, you can see, I'd open that up a little bit. All right, so he's using all of the internal potential support and resistance. We got a target up here of the weekly order block. So that's tied to, oh, that's good. That's nicely done. Okay, so, and this is something Monte Crypto does a lot. So we're looking at it on the 4 hours. So we can't see that the order block was there, but that would be the last sell before it goes down. So we'd come up here bumping into that order block. So you have the potential, if I draw it in here, right, this is actually, Shifa, this is nicely done. So if I draw that in here, I know I've got an order block sitting here that's likely to be defended. So what you're looking for here is the reaction. It's not necessarily that we're doing that. But you're looking for the reaction here because you know there'll be an interest in defending here. So if you get any sort of retrace here, then you're interested, right? You can see some potential candidates here for support and resistance levels. So the Elliott here, I suppose to simplify it, I'd do something like this. Okay, well, there's that. This barely looks like it just holds. I get that right. Sometimes that's a pain. Get it right on there. God, that's a pain in the ass. Let me see. I really struggle with this. Come on. There we go. Oh, fuck. Come on. There it is. Okay, now okay, so we got plenty here. Now, can we get out of that with a 1, 2? It looks like we can. So you get a diag. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take that down. Micro. Okay, so we can get an Elliott count on this. Well, now Master Shifu is a skilled Elliottian, right? So I'm not worried about whether he knows that there's a count there because he's been with us for a long time and has great skills. So I'm just kind of adding this in as filler here to say, okay, well, based on what we're looking at here, it looks like we came into all of this support. Now we got through here, but we don't get the pivot. So remember, if they cannot get the stops there, right, the market is talking to you. Because I guarantee you they're trying to get those, right? So because that, I've been looking at that. So where's the average trader going to put their stop? Right there, right? The fact, and they know that, right? Bears know that. If they can't get it, oh God. Right? That's what causes the reaction, right? So the candidate for a 1, 2, it's not. That's actually a cleaner count than Bitcoin's 1, 2. Now, look, we get barely. This is actually very similar though. We barely get a retracement here. So you would have, this would have been no way you'd have been down here thinking, oh, I see the 1, 2. No way, right? It's not deep enough. You'd have been left with your mouse in your hand. I'm waiting for that to come down a little bit lower. I can see, look at the nice structure I've got down here. So just come on down right here. I'll be here waiting for you. Well, you only get the 38, right? Strong market. It still nails the algo target, but that's probably something more like that. Third target. All right. So again, you're being a retracement trader, you're going to get left with your mouse in your hand, not infrequently. Right? You just got to be at peace with that. You don't want to chase every pump in the market. You got to have a trading plan. My trading plan, I'm a retracement trader. So if I don't get the retracement, I miss the trade, and I'm okay with that. Some people aren't, right? You say, but man, I want to get every swing. Well, if you can do that over time, more power to you. But right now, what have I got? I've just got a straight ripping non-retrace. I mean, this is a power move, right? This is a 4-hour chart, and we've not so much as had a 50, right? Relative to this. So I can see why Shifu is not putting the count on this, because it's not really, I mean, sure, you could probably get one on here. Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd have to go 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. There's a 3 right there. So it looks like that's what you got there. That looks like that might be a 2618. You're kind of, at this point, you're working backwards. So I can go 1, 2. All right. That looks like, so it's always, where's the 4, right? When you're looking for internally, if the 2 is not obvious, where's the 4, right? And I can see the little ABC in there, right? Hard to miss it, right? Little ABC right there. Not hard to spot. Oh, what do I do? Change that color. Not hard to spot that. Okay, there's a little ABC there. So that's likely 1, 2, 3. There's the 4 that corrects it, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives me my 3. They're right where you're looking for it, right after 1, 2, 3. All right, got your ABC coming right after. So again, it gives me context. So what am I looking for next? If I don't think it's done, I'm looking for 1, 2. 1, 2. Like that's done. Well, we don't know, right? It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could be, right? Could be done right there. Well, let's pull it back. Okay, what are we running into, right? That giant order block, right? Which we know is a candidate to be defended. Now we got a big spike of volume here. Go and get this. That's kicking. All right, that's buyers kicking that up here. Now, all right, we go right into the resistance. Well, you don't want to assume anything. The first assumption should be that because you're looking for a reaction here, that you might anticipate a reaction as the order block gets defended. If not, this is a classic case of it. Because I can complete up here, you got 2 choices. One, if it's going to keep going, I'd wait for a retest from above. right? So this with the breakout, right? Prior resistance becomes a support, right? It's not a complicated concept. I'd wait for that, right? So you're going to miss the breakout. Now you can do this, right? If you're determined to be a breakout trader, oh, come here. Right, you can buy that. I would just tell you, if you repeat that over time, that's not going to serve you well. There will be times when that thing will just launch. You go, see, I told you. I knew that was going to be good. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so you got it one time, but let's see how it's 10 out of 10 times, 20 out of 20 times. How are you 100 out of 100? If you get a 3 that comes back to that, right, much safer, because now that's all the muscle is doing here. They want to know, is a bunch of supply going to come back in the market here? Is it safe? Is it safe, or does a bunch of supply come in? They don't know. No one knows. Nobody knows. So you got to check it, right? Where are the sellers? Are they coming? Are they coming? No, they're not coming. Okay, off we go. All right, watch the volume. So because you can complete down here, again, nothing says it has to stop there, but I would suggest that the better play here in this, which I'm sure Master Shifu is thinking the same thing. Well, I'm at an area here. I don't know. I wouldn't be shorting, right? You don't want to fight the trend, right? You don't want to try and pick the top, right? Never a need to do that. If you're looking for the sell side, you do the exact same thing with the B that you're doing with the 2. Okay, well, let's see, because I can put if they can't get those stops that will be sitting right there, right? So look what I'd have: a double top. I'd have a completed impulse. I'd be just missing the median line. Missing the median line, right? We know trading principle number 4 creates the potential for a move equal to or greater than the swing that missed. Equal to or greater. You'd have to be getting a big C for that to happen. So right there, I would, if you were looking for the sell, well, then you take the sell with your stop right there. Because the assumption is the top's in, right? So that's the first assumption you're making. The top is in. So you can't waffle on that. Well, oh, shit, I don't know, maybe it's not in, right? You got to have some conviction in the trade, or don't be in the trade. You're making an assumption. Okay, I can complete an impulse here. I got all the detail. I can complete the 5 of the 5 of the 5. I've got it. I'm at a double top. There's an order block. I didn't make the median line. Well, just because we didn't make it, it's not that it must make it. It's that it's most probable that it gets there. So my suggestion would be kind of wait and see. Do we get there? Because this is high odds, right? You got high odds that we get here. I'd want to see that get there, and it cleans up the count. So look what you'd have the potential for here. If we, God damn it, I never get that on the first click. 1, 2, we're working on the 3, 4, we ping. Again, not a place to be a buyer right at the median line when we know there's a probability for a reaction there, just like a probability, emphasis, probability for a reaction at the order block. What are you looking for, right? Something like that. Now I can buy into all of this structure here. I look, hey, a nice high volume node. Now, all right, I got a pattern that I know is prone to repeating. Not guaranteed to repeat, just historically proven to compete. Why? Because the people that are long here, right, this anywhere along the way, oh shit, a little bit of fear starts to kick in. Oh no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We're going to the moon. Oh shit, man. Lower high. Lower low right here. Now panic selling, right? Fear kicks in. Again, the Elliott is about the trading, the people trading it, not the underlying asset. So you see it, right? So got a nice looking 5 here. We've got all of the, right? So he's put all the detail work. And by the way, this takes a time, right? So he had to put the time in to go back and ping off all of those critical support and resistance levels. I've seen Monte Crypto do it, and he's very, very thorough. Again, if you're interested in this approach, we got a lot of members doing really well with this, but it takes time. You have to like doing it. But what the benefit is, once you do it, once you get all of this marked up, you got all of your weekly, monthly, daily, or all the order blocks marked, and you don't have to do it again. Now you just save it. Now, if you want to throw some Elliott in there to help you with the context, great. Oh, look at that. Weekly order block support. Do I have a 5? Oh, look at that. I got a 3. It's not rocket science. If I get that turn, now remember, if I hit the median line here, I don't have 80% odds of getting there again. But of course, you just draw another one, right? If I get that now, it starts to look pretty good. I wonder what's the margin on that? That must be just like a futures contract. Yeah, I don't have an account with them. Interesting, right? So good work, Shifu. And I like that you're mixing it up. I appreciate you bringing in some of Monte Crypto's work just to show the people that are watching here. So it's not all Elliott all the time. Now, me, I can't avoid it, right? My eye just sees the 5s and 3s, right? 30 years of doing this. I can't get it out of my brain. But when I can't see it, I don't go, oh, fuck, I can't trade it because I can't find the Elliott count, right? That's not how I think. But if I can find it and it helps me, then I'm going to apply it, which is what I did here. Oh, I can see the 3 here. Well, I can see the 5 here. I can see like we're working on a 5, but what's really guiding me is the fact that I've got a corner pocket here and I've got a target of the median line and I'm not there yet. Could be done here, but then I don't like it as much here. I want it to get to that median line because then I know, ping, okay, I know where we are, right? I know that there's algos participating here. I know I'm likely to get a reaction here. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe they're going to run the stops here. This is very common, right? We'll run all the stops. So all the breakout traders go, hey man, look, I knew that thing was going to go. So it goes up, down it goes, right? So then the fear, oh man, I thought that was going to break out. It's going down now, damn it. Right. And what are you really doing? You're just kind of coming back to all of this support structure right here. That's where you want to be a buyer. So when it's heading up to that, you've got some runway. You don't want to buy it right here. You got no runway. It's too easy. Too many things can happen right here. Down here, okay, I got runway. I can be long. Look at all the money I'm making right as I get there. So now if I get a reaction, I'm not, again, I can lock in profit here. They're not going to hurt me. I can't get hurt, right? That's a comforting feeling to be. I can't get hurt. They can't hurt me. I'm in the ring. You can't knock me out. Right? You might give me a little jab, but that's no uppercut to the jaw. So I can just patiently wait. See, do we get through? And maybe second time we go. Always better to be long going into a potential significant top or a double, right? Double bottom, right? Just get long ahead of it, right? That's why you buy it when it's down, right? You don't have to be here at the corner. You can just wait, right? Be patient, right? Patience is part of being a good trader. You don't jump for every pivot. Oh, now I'm in. Okay. Now what am I doing here? Well, if that's not, of course, could be a 5, right? But all I know, I've got an impulse. I got a 3. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for now in context, I'm looking for a 5. Now, can I put it into a larger context? Could this be 1, 2, or 3, 4? Something has happened here. So I got a 5. I got a 3. I want to be long. Nice post, Master Shifu. Appreciate that one. Let me go to Fen 16, another very improved trader. Let me get rid of all of that. So I'm going to take that one down, right? For you FTX traders. Interesting to be able to trade that. I'm going to leave that. Now back to Bitcoin just tagged to 65. Okay, so let me bring this link up here and bring that up. All right, so what do we got? This is Fen 16. I'm sure this will have some juice on it. So let me copy that. Well, Fen 16, he's educational, isn't he? Yeah, I thought so. All right, so here, look at some nice work here. Well, this looks good, Fen. Oh, yeah, I thought so. I was going to say blue or purple. All right, so by the time you get to blue, you're pretty solid. You get to purple, and you've got an advantage over 95% of the traders in the market. Okay, so this is, I'm going to get out a little further so I can see where he is here. Okay, so this is DOT, right? Everybody's hot for DOT. DOT has gone through its own little, right? Everything's DOT to the moon. Okay. Greed. Oh man, this one is going to change crypto forever. Fear. Now, what are we doing? Right? Are we going to go get that? Right? It's all the market ever does, right? It's just variations of that. Oh, this is good work, Fen. Okay, so 1, 2, I like that. So we got here's another 1, 2, all accounted for. Good triangle in the 4, right? When you're not sure and we're going sideways, that's when the first thing should pop in your head, probably a triangle. So nice internal work here. 1, 2. So do you see? I'm going to take that up a degree so you can spot it a little better. All right, and I'm going to put that in white. That's just my habit, right? Because it stands out. Okay, so 1, small 2. Now, You know, the only negative to this count here is you don't have great time relationship here, but you could probably complicate that. But the 2 to the 4 is, not ideal, right? But it's, given what comes off of this, and because we break that low, you're kind of stuck with that as a complex correction. So the WXY is most likely what we've got here. So good work, Fen. So coming off of this, oh shit, you'd probably have to go into a 5 here, 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'd go A, B, C. Right. That's all the market ever does. Right. Even though look at all the complexity in there. You got this cluster, you're down here, you got another impulse. What the hell's going on? That's all it is. That's all it is. It's all the market ever does. So we come down here. Now we're testing support. How nice. Look, come into the structure here. The prior 3, 4 down a degree. Right. So nicely tagged. Come to support. What do you get? Double bottom. Well, actually, it's a triple bottom, really. Triple. Tested. And then look, right. Prior support gets through. Up. Now it's the resistance. Down we go. Oh, so a clean 1. It's an 8. Let's go out to the daily just out of curiosity. Put it. Sometimes log, it'll just be easier to spot it when you go to log, right? And you've got the range here. It's at 4 to 1. You definitely, it's warranted to look at it in log, right? We've gone from 2 to 42. Right, 20 something to 1. Right, so we've certainly got the range to warrant a look at it in log scale. So I'll look here. Now the 2 to the 4 doesn't look so bad, right? It looks much better here in logarithmic than arithmetic. So my guess is, I wonder, Fen, if you did this in log, I think it cleans it up a little bit. So you see the 3 right side. So remember a 4, like. So this would be sharp, right? And this is sideways. So you have your guidelines of alternation here, and that now you see the essentially the 3 here a little bit better, right? So you see the 3. All right, now up, and we get 5 here. I'm curious in log how that did. Right to the 50. 3, 4 down 2 degrees here, but that's an area it's not surprising to see you popped into a little support there. And look at the finish, right? So nice work, Fen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have to finish with a 5, right? Whether it's an ABC, WXY, we finish with 5s, right? And we start with 5s. Right? Again, just think about that for a second. If you know that I'm going to finish in a 5 and I'm going to start a 5, boy, does that free up your mind. Now you're not wondering what the hell, I don't know. Is it another pivot? Does this pivot? Where is this the support? Is that the resistance? I don't know. If you just organize it that way, that's what Elliott's doing, is organizing. It's decreasing the number of possibilities. Okay, well, there's a big 3. Well, that's a good candidate. We're at a 50. Where am I looking for the 2? Between the 50 and the 618. I got a good candidate. Did it do it in a 3? Yeah, it did. It's very complex, but it did it in a 3. Can I complete a 1 up here? Yeah, I can. What am I looking for after I complete that 1? I'm looking for a 3. Do I get it? It's complex, but yeah, I get it. That's all it is, right? It's all the market ever does. All right, so now we start in here. We got to dig in there. Okay, so it looks like this is great example. Thanks for showing this, Fen, because this is just for people that need to see it again and again and again. So you'll hear me say things like, don't worry, they don't care if they get stopped out. And the reason I say that is because you'll see this over and over again where they'll get stopped out on one side, stopped out on the other side, but eventually they get into one of these sequences here where they can hit 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. So you think an algorithm here is participating? How many in a row do they get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? They've already got, so this has already got target. So they're working on number 6 here. 6 algo measured moves in a row, which is why they don't care, right? If they get eventually, right? They don't care. Once long, oh, yeah, fuck, who cares, right? Eventually they're going to get in sync with it because this is what the market does. Now, what's a measured move? It's all the market ever does, right? So you think, God damn, man, the algos have got to be so much more complicated that it can't be that simple, can it? Well, God knows how many algos are in there, but this is the one we can track because it leaves a footprint, and it leaves a footprint based on what the market does, right? It's either internal or external, right? We get a swing, we retrace. It's either going to break this pivot or this pivot, right? Because we can't go sideways forever. It's going to break one of them. Now, knowing that, right, did you need the Elliott here? Not necessarily, right? Swing, retrace, right? Where are we pivoting? Swing, retrace. Do I need the Elliott? I don't need it, but it's going to help me because I fucking out. Well, how many times is this going to go? Well, if I can start to organize it, okay. Looks like I might have completed the 5 here. I got to make these brighter. I can't see them. I'm going to put that in white, and I'm going to take that up a degree or 2. Well, let's at least go to micro. Okay, so 1, 2. Man, they must use different backgrounds than I do. I find these hard to see. Okay, so 1. Okay, so right out of the chute, right? Look at this nice work that Fenn's done here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So we start and end with 5s. Well, here's the 5 we ended with to give me the C, to give me the 2, and I start with a 5. 5. It's a little thin, but there's a 2. Or it looks like this would have to be over here. So I got another 1, 2. Where am I looking for the 2? Right. So do you see how all I did when I was first studying this was say, that 50 to that golden zone here, well, it was taught to me differently, but the 50 to 618. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting, but I keep seeing it break the 618, right? Because I know people have been taught to put their stops right underneath it. So what does it consistently seem to do when it breaks? Well, that's where the 65 came, which was what came to the golden zone. 1, 2. So I'm looking for it here. Well, hey, that 50 to the golden zone, that's right in line where we'd be looking for a 2 in an Elliott count, or a B in an Elliott count, or a 4 even in an Elliott count. Boy, that makes sense. So if an algo is participating there, all they're doing is just adding fuel, right? So I just want to tuck in behind them. I always think of it that way. It's like I'm water skiing behind them, right? You pull the boat and I'm just going to trail behind you. Right. That's all. That's what goes off in my mind. I start with a 5. 1, 2. Okay. Well, I get a kind of a shaky 5 here, but look at what I get. Now, by the way, right? Vegas wave. Right. So it's so easy to go eye blind to it. We're split the lips right there, right at the golden zone. Do you see that? See how it's not right? I can show you guys this 10,000 times, right? You got to pull the trigger there. So we're in there and it's not the 618. So if you were told, you put your stop 1 tick under the 618, stopped out, and there it goes. Looks like there was another one in here, actually. That looks like that might be right here. Yeah. So you had another one. There's the target right there. So, I mean, there's more. So if you went, so we're on a 2 hour, if you took this down to a 1 minute, I promise you there'd be hundreds of them because it happens on every time frame. That's how many algorithms are running at any time. And it's in every market. I've never seen a market where it wasn't there. Not one. Right. So 1, 2. Look, you had another little one in there. Now we go again, right? So here's the swing, right? So you're just looking, okay. Well, so we know that they use this one because I just showed you that one. So we got a swing. I got a retracement. Well, where is it? Well, I'm between the 50 and the 618. Do I really care how I'm labeling this? Well, maybe not, right? So it's helping. He's using it to organize his thinking. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ooh, looks like I got a 3 because we sure went well beyond that target. Right, so that goes. So you just get the same thing you would do here. So 1, 2. All right, where am I looking for the 3? Oh, God, I never get it first click right there. Right, so yeah, we got some wicks through it, but this is the zone I'm looking for it. Now, so I know where I am. So I've got a good candidate for a 3. What am I looking for? I'm looking for 3 to come off for the 4. Do I get it? Right? All the market ever does. Right? Swing. It's just another measured move. Shit. It's probably another. I'd be willing to bet you that's another measured move coming the other direction. All right. Remember, always an algo on the other side. Sure enough. Right. Do you see it? Always an algo on the other side. So here's the 50 that goes. Oh shit. I never get these. I'm just too quick with the mouse, I guess. Right, there it is, right? Do you see the measured moves on the other side? Right, so you got a combination of hitting an algo target here as you're hitting a 50. So we got one algorithm that's taking profit here by buying. You got another algorithm that's kicking in by buying. What comes off of that? Right, it finishes the Elliott count. So now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I just do? It's just context. Okay, well, which 5 did I just finish? Well, now you got to work backwards. Wait a second. 1, 2. Well, there's an impulse. I've got a completed, clear. No, you can't argue with me. That's a completed impulse, and I got 3. What am I looking for next? If this is the 3, 4, I'm looking for, I've got to finish with 5. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for 5 followed by 3. Where does it pivot? Right at the golden zone. Do you see that? That's the target right there. Do they get their target? Look at the reaction. How do we know it's an algorithm? Not based on this, based on this. The reaction at the target. So you can tell, because that's, human beings aren't just going to randomly, I'm just going to take some profit here. I think that's gone far enough. No, that's an algorithm, right? It's the footprint. That's how we track it. That's how we know what happened there. 1, 2. Oh, well, it didn't stop here, right? It keeps going. So you're willing to bet you, right? I have not checked this. I never look at these in advance. Guys, I cannot make this shit up, right? Where do we go for the 3? All right, so do you see how this is like, this is everything we're teaching you here is right here encapsulated in this one chart, right? So I've got pattern, I've got geometry, I've got this nice channel going up, I got the Vegas wave, I've got this structure here because we're just going swing, retrace, swing, retrace, swing, retrace. Well, I reach a point where I can say, hey, I completed something there because that's a 5. I'm with trend, and all the corrections have been 3s. Okay, right, gives me context. So, I'm looking for the 5. So is that 1, 2? Yeah, that could be the 3. Where am I looking for the 3? Okay, I can probably put the 3 there. Looking for the 4, right? I don't want to overlap the 1. Oh, lo and behold, look at that. You think that's random? I promise you it's not. It doesn't overlap, right? So then we go, here's the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to work backwards from this. Looks like that's the 3. So it looks like you got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we pivot. All right, so I've got a candidate here for a completed impulse off of this low. All right, so all the way up, technical, all the way up, right? Algo's fully driving it up and down. Came into this resistance, which I'm assuming is some, all right, he didn't call this an order block. Yeah, so this is just prior resistance, right? We looked at this earlier, right? Support, resistance. Now, if this is going to come down, where would be a reasonable spot to be anticipating you might get some support? Not for no reason, not like, that looks like that's far enough, or maybe that's a golden zone. Look left. What happened the last time it got here, right? That's the benefit here when we're not at all-time highs. Hey, I can look left. Is it possible here that there were sellers here that tried to defend here? They try, it breaks. Now they're going to come back. Now buyers are going to defend here. They're going to defend. That's what keeps driving it up, because if that's the 2, we completed the 5. That's an unusually shallow 2, right? So raging bull, like polka dot, right? Nobody can get enough of it. But it hasn't been like just boom straight up. There's no retrace because polka dot is revolutionizing DeFi. It had a massive correction. Crypto is only going up, right? I don't worry about the corrections. I just buy and let it rip. Well, if you bought down here, you're looking pretty good, right? And it really, this is, the context is here to have completed something, but you would not have known that was the 2, that right? That you'd have been sitting here again. This is do you have the correction, right? Well, now we can look at it, but you'd have been looking for something like that, right? I know I would have, right? Maybe something down here to pop into some of this structure, to tie into some of that structure. So you got left with your mouse in your hand here, but okay, well, you're not going to get every swing in the market. That should not be your goal. Your goal is to be profitable over time. Okay. Can I make sense of this? Well, goddamn, that's a shallow 2, isn't it? But look why doesn't it go deeper? This algo kicked in. I'm going to take that one and hide it so I can just see a little bit better in here. Okay, so if this is 1, 2, because you could make a case, right? Now it's possible we're relabeling here. It's possible, right, that this gets relabeled. Maybe this goes higher and this ends up being the 3. That's the 4. You'd have to kind of work through that count. You don't need to go there yet. Right now, I got an incredibly shallow. All right, and this might be, right, polka dot's so hot. We're only making the 23. It's not like it's never happened before, but you wouldn't have been sitting there going, 2's in, I'm ready to buy. Right? Because that's abnormal, right? You wouldn't anticipate. Although it is, you can kind of look left and say, okay, maybe. Let's dig in there because that's good work that he's done there. Tricky. God, you guys with these colors, I can't see them. Okay, so we got an ABC into a W, likely the X, because you don't have a clean 5 here. So, excuse me, the idea of a 1, 2, Because it's corrected, right? You might have had to come to this after the fact, because you can kind of look at that and say, you wouldn't have known, right? It's always easy in hindsight, right? I'm aware of that, gosh, right? You wouldn't have known, right? That could have been, shit, man, is that a sloppy diag coming down here for an A and that's the B? It's been very, very easy, although you don't have much of a 3 there. Never the first click. But you don't have much of a 3. You might have been thinking, all right, fuck, okay, maybe it's something like this. And now we're going to go deeper, right? It's polka dot. Come on, give me at least a 38, right? So you could easily have been left here. Tricky one, right? I would not have been a buyer there because I would have been waiting for it lower. You're not going to get everyone, right? So, but see, the market's talking to you again here. So if you're, Jesus Christ, if you're here and you're thinking it's going deeper, right, and it can't get to that pivot where you know there are going to be stops, if it can't get there and it takes out this pivot, market is talking to you. Right? It's too strong, right? So context. Oh, well, shit. So shit, maybe I've got the shallow 2. Process of elimination, right? If I'm going to go into another 5 and I can complete a 5 here, well, I got to consider the possibility. Well, oh shit, okay, maybe it is a shallow 2. And maybe now polka dot is so damn hot, it's going to revolutionize DeFi. So we only get a 20. We don't even get a 23. Maybe it's that hot, that strong. The DeFi is that revolutionary that you're only going to get what do we get? A 20% retracement of the 2. Well, now what comes off of that? Right. So again, you're back to process of elimination. Well, sure looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't miss that one. There's a 3. Now, are we done here? Maybe. But look at that. I mean, you can't miss that one. Kind of surprised you didn't label it, right? Oh, well, it looks like you'd have to do it that way. 5 into that one to give you I got to take that up a degree. Let's go up to micro so I can see it. Take it up there. Okay, so there's a 3. There's a good candidate for a 4. 1, 2. You see, why do you lock into that? Because the internal impulse is your key. I can see the internal impulse, right? And it's based off of a 2. 1, 2, internal impulse, right? So it's either an A, B, C or a 1, 2, 3, right? Process of elimination. Okay, well, 4. Now, is that a great looking 5? No, it is definitely not. And that's kind of a cluster as well, right? So see, this looks again. It's unclear, right? So it could be that the 4 is going to come over here because you could likely call that 3. This could be 3. This is an unfinished, right? It's still in the oven, right? I can't tell what's cooking in here, but I can sure see that I just hit a 50, and this. Well, let's see. He's pulling that from. Where are you pulling that? Oh, he's pulling it from right here. Okay, so he's using this. I got to get that. This pivot right here. So here's the swing, here's the retrace right in the pocket. It comes just shy, but that's close enough. Right? Often they'll front run the target. That's a 2 hour. Let's go to a 1 hour. This looks like you'd have to go WXY because you're finishing, right? So remember, we can only finish with a 5. So it looks like you'd have to do that as an ABC, right? And you're implying the 5 here. So A, B, C, A, B, or WXY. So you'd have to finish that as a WXY, or this is going to have we're going to have some sort of a running flat. It's kind of hard to tell right there. So because we got to finish with a 5, do we really have a 5 there? Well, shit, maybe down on a 15. Looks more like a 3, right? So one possibility here is that's a 3. Well, maybe we have an expanded flat. It's hard to call it, right? So I would be watching here. I mean, everybody wants to be a piece of dot. So, but again, I'm a retracement trader. So I wouldn't buy that, right? Because this isn't really the good 5. So I'd be, I've been using this. So funny. My when I was out of town, I was visiting with my wife's family, and her father watches all these cop shows, and he said, "There's one cop. How would he know?" And one of his friends was a good cop, and he said, "How do you know when to pull someone over? Well, what's the trigger?" And he said, "Well, it just doesn't look right. Something just doesn't look right." And he used to abbreviate it as JDLR, right? And well, quickly I incorporated that into an Elliott account because this, as a finishing 5, just doesn't look right. So I'm not trading that till I can see that better. JDLR. This looks perfect. It's not advancing the trend really. We're just kind of going sideways. It's not like this here. Clearly, this is impulsive. This, we're going sideways. I don't like it enough to be a buyer up here. That's me, right? And again, I'm very strict about the conditions I look for. We've been ripping nonstop here. The most shallow retracement we had is about 20%. Now you have to accept the risk of missing the next swing. Because, I mean, maybe this goes 1-2, and this we have completed here, even though that's an ugly finish, right? Just doesn't look right. So I'd be reluctant to be a buyer. But if that's going to finish, what are we looking for? If that's finished, pardon me. Since we're doing the shallow one, we'd be looking at it this way. If this is 1-2, and that's the one, we're looking for something. We're right back into that prior resistance, now potentially becoming the support. And I'm looking for a bigger 3 because heavy emphasis if here. Oh shit! I'm going to take that. Let's put that in. Put it in blue. And let's go up a degree so it fits. Okay, if that's 1-2 and that's 1, well, I'm looking for big money, right? The next push should be the big one, right? 3 is your money ball. That's the wave you want to be in. But that just doesn't look right, does it? Right? The 2 is a little off right now. Okay, it's crypto. Hey, it's Polkadot, man. They're revolutionizing everything. Maybe that's all we get. So still, even here, even though you've got that golden zone here, because that doesn't quite fit my plan here, or the criteria that I'm looking for. Oh, nice touch here. I hadn't seen that, Fen, that you had the nice, had the nice Elliott channel in there. Pull that up just a hair. So if I can come back into that. I just don't like the finish, right? So it looks to me like there's a candidate for that to kick, for that 3 to not be done. This could be A, B, C, like something, right? Give me something a little deeper. Again, I'm a retracement trader. So give me the retracement or I wait. You got to be patient. Again, it can't be, I'm going to get every swing in the market. Be picky. Because when you're trading, be careful of trading just because, all crypto Twitter is bullish, right? So I better take a piece of it, right? Then who's guiding your trading? People you don't know on Twitter. You guide your trading. You make that decision to buy. You make that decision to where you're going to put the stop, and you make the decision to move your stop if you're going to do it. All right, which I would tell you has never once ever been a good idea, because all it does, even if you get away with it, all it does is reinforce the bad habit, and then you'll do it again. And again and again, and one time, right? It only takes one time. Really hurt your account, really hurt you. Oh shit, I got away with that for the last 5 times in a row, and this time it's going to hit me. Yeah, right. Market punishes mistakes. You've heard me say that many times. It may not be the first time, may not be the second time, but eventually the market punishes mistakes. Always. Universal truth. Mistakes get punished in the market. Maybe, right? I'd be with this. This is on everybody's watch list, right? Everybody wants a piece of it, but let's be strategic, right? This is a tough one, right? That's a little bit of a heartbreak. Oh God, that would have been so great if it had just come down a little bit lower, right? It's a little bit of a heartbreak that you didn't get that, right? But that's trading. That's life, right? You're not going to get everything. Good work, Fen. Very good work, right? So there's a blue belt. Look at the quality of the work on a blue belt, right? But he's active, right? That's how you get the max value out of your membership. You're active. You post a lot. You ask a lot of questions, a lot of examples, a lot of trial and error. Right? So when Fen first got to us, he would not have had that quality, right? He would not have nailed all those algo pulls. He would not have nailed it. But now he does it. And he's like he's breathing, right? Oh shit! Oh, I got that one. I got that one. I got that one. I got that one. Right now, right? As it's pumping, you know what's going on. You're not like fuck. I don't know, man. Where? I don't know. Is that the line? Is that the support? Right? There's a plan. Good work, Fen. All right, Woo Wonka, what do you got? Let's see here. Okay, so I got. How we doing on time? What time? Okay. All right. So maybe I won't do all of Woo Wonka's. Oh, he's only posted 2. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I do get carried away. All right, what do we got here? Whoa, Wonka. Oh, Maker. All right, so he's giving me. All right, I got to do a copy here. Oh man, it's hot. It's 97 in Austin today. My office is hot. All right, that doesn't look like Matt. Oh, wait a second. What happened there? So Maker. Yeah, just type in Matic. MKR. Oh shit. Well, let's do Binance. Oh shit. I won't get his account. Can you see what exchange he? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's on Coinbase. Okay, he's on Coinbase. Yeah. MKRUSD. Coinbase right there. Ah, there it is. Now I can see his work right now. Wonka. All right, everybody has to be an original. So he gave it to me in log. He puts his indicators up here, which now let's see if that works, right? So just as well, right? If you double click, they come. I guess I've never done it that way, but a lot of people like that. So we have here, so this is the squeeze. It's momentum and a squeeze, right? The trigger is the squeeze, then the Elliott oscillator and the RSI. All right, so another one, right? Everybody wants a piece of this one. A really solid project. So if we pull this back, that's a 1 hour. Let me go to a 4, see where you are here. Oh, look at this nice work. Okay, so do you see how he's acknowledging here? So we come up, this is a little rough of a start, but this likely your 3, 4. So you have to work backwards. So you get a double top up here. So working backwards, that's the most aggressive. You can think of it that way. So working backwards looks like there's your first 5. Now into the side, the end of the 2 here, this, oh shit. Well, what's interesting here, so you get a sharp into the 2, but then we go sideways. So likely the implication here is that we start with the 1, we get a sideways 2. Right? That's what he's saying, right? He just didn't label it. So this is 1, 2, and then to complete this, well, here, I'll just do it for him. Right? So we'd go 1, that's the lowest low here, 3, oh, double bottom into that. Let's bring that down. Okay. I'm a little weak on this one since I'm not sure if it's second wave coming down or fourth. Well, it's okay. So how could we narrow in on that? All right. Well, this doesn't look like it's going to be enough, right? So you'd have to go up to 3, 3, 6, 1, 8, or even if we take it out of log. No, I wouldn't do it because we're in log. So you'd have to go up to because we're beyond the 2, 6, 1, 8, just process of elimination, because this is shorter. You'd plant the 3 here. Looks like you 3'd into a double bottom here. So this would clearly be the internal 3, 4 of that 3 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my internal impulse accounted for. And note guideline of alternation. We get a sideways 2 and a sharp 4, which actually would be over here. Right? Alternation, right? So the benefit of that is you go, hey, this was sideways. That was sharp. So I have a fairly good feel for where I am. Now, 1, 2 looks like that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I complete. So from the low, I've completed something. I'm assuming he's got this labeled. Oh, Wonka, that's not like you. Let me go out to an 8 and complete that. All right. So the only thing that's missing here, Wonka, is we haven't just labeled the higher degree. So something completed, right? So we got to call it something. All right, now, are we done here? We got to put those somewhere. Let's take them up. Oh, we can go minuet. All right, so something completed here. So off of the low, is this our COVID low? Yes, there's our COVID low. All right, so there's the impulse. Not too far from Bitcoin. All right, so we got a 1. Now, where are we looking for the 2? Obviously, we're looking for it deeper than we've gotten so far, right? This is where we're looking for, right? Right. So this is always a target down a degree. We go to the 3, 4. Maybe we come down into that. We know this is the high probability zone, but we just, again, crypto may be so strong here, we're not going to get there. So is this again going to be, we're only going to get the 2 between the 23 and the 38? Well, certainly possible. The other alternative, as he's implying here, is that all we've done is the A. So now let's dig in there. What did he send me, an hourly? Let's look in there. Oh, this is good. Okay. So this shit. Oh, my thought here would be that this is so deep that we went W, X, A, B, C, D, E. So it looks like you'd have a triangle. So and then you finish it. This looks like a triangle. So my guess is here is that if this is going to hold as our low here, we'd have to consider this likely complex. W, that looks like triangle 4 or triangle B, X, and then A, B. We can do it a couple of different ways. That looks like A, B, C. Well, this is the new low. So this has to be the 4 because this is the new low. So you're working backwards, and that looks like a 3. This right now you could come back to this, right? We can look at it and say, all right, well, it was corrective. I don't know that it matters so much here how we label this, right? Something corrective here. So it's either WXY, possibly a double, maybe down here on a smaller time frame, we can get that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come off of that. It's a little tricky. ABC, right? So could be the A, right? So this is good work. Okay. All right, let's push this off just a bit so I can see what you're thinking there. Expanding diag. All right, so good, right? So do you see he's qualifying it? So 5 is longer than 3, 3 is longer than 1. So we have a candidate here for the leading diag into the 1, very sharp into the 2, then another leading diag. Do you see that? Right. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, you've got all the qualifications. So this is tricky in here. It's good work, Wonka. So 1, 2, you got nothing. That's all you got to work with here. Is sometimes that's all you got, right? So you got to just go with it. Okay, well that's the deepest retracement I've got. So at this moment in time, I plant the 2 here. I come off with another 5. But here now it starts to clear up. Right, here's a very, and like my 5-year-old can't miss that, right? So there's a very clear 3 into the 2. So I've got a good candidate for the 2, and my guess is that looks like it's a 50, maybe a little deeper. All right, so you're in between the 50 and the golden zone, good candidate for the 2, right? So if you're, good example there, you don't have to pick the turn, you can wait for it, right? Patience is rewarded in the market. I wait for it here. If they can't get that stop, what? Stops get run, up it goes. That creates the 3. There's another nice A, B, C into the 4, although that looks like, so you'd have to go A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 4. Oh, looks like if we measure that, looks like that was probably a 50 or a 38. All right, it's a 50. Okay, so here's the reaction. Doesn't get there the first timer. So here you'd be wondering, shit, right? Didn't get there. What went wrong? Well, you might at the same time then look here. Remember, the algo is just going to use the next pivot, right? So it might here. You're just trying to identify. Well, that's too far. So you go to this one. Could have been that one. Could have been this one. They're going to use one of these, but you start with the dominant, right? At this moment in time, those are the 2 dominants, right here. Here's the swing. Here's the retrace. Not quite. So since the implication here, the way he's labeling it is 3, and we want to pay attention. You'd start at the 2. Okay, well, so where's the probability zone for the 4? Right, between the 23 and the 38, right? That's the 4 that we like because that increases the probability of a good kick in the 5. The deeper the 4, then you start looking for less in the 5th. So that's why you want the 4 between the 23 and the 38, strength of trend. So up we go. That algo gets its target here. We bump around here. Looks like that's another one. So if you're new to this, you start, okay, use the dominant. Right, here's the most significant pivot between those 2. What's in between those 2? Right. That's all the market ever does, just a different shape. Now, where do we ping? All right, so dominant to dominant, we ping right at the 618. Now, still, that's too far for a front run. All right, so this algo has been stopped out. Right, now remember, that doesn't mean that they reverse there. Now they're just waiting for the next one. All right, so again, this is why I say that. They don't care. And it could have been, well, that's too far. So you're in between. It's too far. So you're looking for the next out. So when they get stopped out here on the buy side, they're just going to wait for the next 50 or the golden zone. Right. On the sell side, you got the same thing happening on this side. Right. Well, that looks like that ABC caught it. Right. Always an algo on the other side. Don't forget that. Right. Let's get it right on that. So you can see it's almost tick to tick, right? Always an algo on the other side. Swing, not the 618, golden zone. All right, looks like it tags the 65 to the tick. That's 1 tick beyond its target. So they got it twice. So this algo gets paid, right? That's why they don't care. They don't care, right? It's long, short, they don't care. Right? It's just software, right? It has no personality. It's just clink, buy it. So perfect ABC there, right? But note, that's a measured move ABC per this algo. It's not your classic length of A projected from B equals C, right? It comes up short, right? That's right. So this is part of how I think Halsey identified that, because it's not making the 100, which is the traditional measured move. It kept coming up short, something else going on. So with that established, you got a good candidate here for the 4. So off of the bat, it looks like another diag here. You don't get with the overlap here. I don't think you don't have enough. You don't have a better fit, so you're kind of stuck with the diag here. But the basic gist of it here is a 5, right? We start or we end with a 5, right? So there's a 5 to get me started, and there's a 3, right? 5s and 3s, right? That was the genius. 1, 2, 3. Now 1 looks like ABC into the 2, so it looks like the 2 has to come down already. So he's looking for this to come out of there. It looks like it's already had a little movement since he drew up the chart. He probably did it last night. So looking for the 3 to keep going. 1, 2, right? Again, the market is talking to you here. If they can't get that on that sell-off, because there's going to be stops there, right? Again, where's retail going to put its stop? Here, 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 here. Every pivot becomes a target for the opposing forces. Right, or the competing algorithm. You can think of it that way, right? If they can't get that stop and that stop and that stop, right. So if they can't get it here, we're going to rally. Now you've got a contender here for the 2. And by the way, it did it in a 3. 1, 2, 3. Right. So a good candidate for the 2. Now, I don't know, where's that 3 going to go? Well, how could we be intelligent about estimating? Right. That's all we're doing. Right. Where is it most likely to go? We know this, right? Again, do you see the repetition here? I'm probably boring you to death with it, but that's your superpower. It's doing it the same way every time. As soon as you start fucking with it, now you're off doing your own thing, right? And I'm not saying that our way is the only way. I'm just saying if you want to approach with this methodology, and you're going to use Elliott, and you're going to use these algorithms, and you're going to use this geometry, you got to do it the same way every time until you have tested it so thoroughly, you've come to the conclusion that it's not profitable for you over time. Right now, so what the cause of that is, well, that's a case-by-case basis. But right now, you want to try and do it the same way every time, because over time, that will serve you well. I can't, you have to validate that for yourself, right? Because ultimately, if it's not working for you, most probable cause is pilot error or poor money management. 1, 2. So we're looking for something big. So this would be classic, right? He's laid it out for you here, right? I would take that higher. Where's he? Oh, he is taking it higher. Where's your top here? Oh, shit. He's going for a big one. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's going off of this one. So let me take that one off. So if this is the 1, 2, this is the 3 of the internal, right? We're trying to get to that 3. Let me take that up a degree. All right, I always change. I rotate color and degree because you can get lost in here, right? It's particularly for me when I'm reading somebody else's chart. Like when it's your chart, it's easier to do. When I'm doing it, it's a little hard for me to decipher what you're doing. So that's why I make a point, and I think it's a good habit. Get the degrees in alignment, right? Go up 1 degree, down, and rotate color, because otherwise you're up here going, fuck, which 5 is that 2? Which C is that 2? If you don't do the degree matching, you get lost. You lose time because you're backtracking going, what the hell? 3, 4, 5. So do you see? So let's put this in context. If this completed the 1 and the 2, oh shit, I got to bring that over. All right, so here's a reasonable candidate. So he's got a target up here. He's going for the larger algo target up here. So we'd be into the 200%, but you certainly would pay attention when it got right here, right? So that would be the 3 of this degree in white. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Maybe that 3 goes further. 3, 4. Now, can you get that big of a 5? Well, you could, right? You don't have the 3 yet, right? We just have a target. Maybe it goes further, right? We get a bigger 3, and then this up here becomes more realistic. But he's projecting that off of the candidate at the larger degree. Even that one, I would go up a degree. The only bummer is that minuet looks smaller, but 3 into that, 1, 2 looks like we're going up for the 3, 4, 5. So this would be ripe right now. You could buy that right now. You could either use this pivot or this pivot. Either of those is your stop. It looks like he's pretty tight on that one. But I think he drew this before we had that drop off this morning. So my guess is he'd want that to come down. Wonka, I'm guessing he would, right? So you'd use this pivot because your assumption is the 2 is in. I got 3. The pivot we pushed off of it. The assumption is the pivot is in. So you don't want to go, well, this is dangerous, right? You have to commit to that decision. You don't go, oh, well, maybe that's going deeper for a different 2. Maybe it's going to be a more complex correction. We're going to get a deeper 2. You have to commit to it, right? So because if you don't, then what are you doing? You're moving your stop. if this gets stopped out, take the small loser. If it does that, reevaluate. Do I still like it here? Did it complete a larger degree 3? Am I just getting a bigger version of it? Jesus, I never get it. 1, 2, maybe I get it deeper. Right now, do I like it as much? You don't have to, right? Maybe you don't want to be, hey, shit, I just took a little jab there and it kind of stung. Maybe I won't try and pick the turn. I'll wait for that. Right? Again, size of risk relative to reward. Right? You just, because it's the exact same thing right here. You're making the assumption that the pivot is in. Hey, I got a 3. Looks like that'd be somewhere close to the golden zone. Okay, so do I have the right ingredients here? Maybe it's going to go 7, 8, 6. Right? Certainly, we see it all the time. Remember, if they can't get the stops that are down there, the market's talking to you because they're trying to get them. Bears are trying to get them. If they can't get it. Right, all of a sudden, that's what creates now, depending on how far that goes, right, you might get yourself another golden corner. Right? So don't forget, right, this is the framing, right? The entire trade devils methodology requires that you include the geometry. Can't just be Elliott Wave, can't just be fibs. You got to use all 3 of them together. Why? Because it's going to help you. It's going to help you. If I get this right now, I don't have this, right? This is all I've got, right? But if it rolls over and we go deeper, reevaluate, take the small loser, right? You're going to get hit if you get in the ring. So you can't freak out about getting stopped out. Just, again, turn it to a positive. Well, stop did its thing, right? It's doing its job, right? So let's reevaluate. Okay, do I like it there? Because I'm making an assumption the pivot's in. Okay, I'll take that risk, right? Again, you're not going to hurt me there. You might jab me, but that's not an uppercut to the jaw. Now you're trying to get into the money wave. You're trying to get into the money wave of the money wave. That's why you're always looking for the 3. All right, let me keep moving. That's good work, Wu Wonka. How are we doing on time? Okay, so Alwyn, I'm tempted to look at his because his first one was so good. But because we're tight on time, I'm going to go to Mr. Jack. If we've got extra time, I'll circle back. because I haven't done Mr. Jack yet. I'm going to take a look at that. Nahi, because I really like the work you posted. Wu Wonka, I know yours is going to be good. And I got James M down here with Ethereum. I had a couple of people wanting me to do Ethereum, but if I work on Sundays, I got World War III in my house. My wife does not allow for that. So you can work 6 days a week, but at Sunday, you're mine. So I've had to negotiate, right? You pick your battles. Anyone who's married understands that. Okay, so let me make a, oh shit. What do I got here? Mr. Jack's giving me uni. Interesting. Are we in log? We are in log. So 1, 2, that looks like a good 3. I like this. Nice touch, right? Drawing in the volume profile of the correction. So we see where all of the trading, you can just kind of logically look at that and understand it. I'm going to make a copy of this. Why am I not getting the copy option? Can I work with this? I don't think. Did I? Yeah, I guess I did. Okay, so 1, 2. Okay, so, this is nice work. So do you see what he's doing here? He's going A, B, C, D, E, right? So we get a little triangle there. You could probably count that. You could do it either way. You could do W, X, Y. Either way, what are we doing here? We're not progressing the trend, right? We've got a clear trend established with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 1, 2, oh shit. Looks like you go 3, 4, 5. So we got a good candidate for the 3. Note here, that's the second target. So I know that that's going to be pretty close to the 127, 138 window, the second most common. Oh, wait, shit, we did. Oh, because we're log scale, we don't get it. So we get 100. We clear the 100. So we have our candidate for the 3. Sideways into the 4, sharp into the 2. So you got nice guidelines of alternation. So 1, 2, 3, sideways 4. This is always a good thing to do, right? Look for, okay, right, low volume note at the end. That's just the kind of finish that you want to see down here. So we come out of that, good candidate for the 4. Either way you label that, right? It's just at the end of the day, right? You can complicate it, but it's really just that same pattern, right? It's just a 3. Now, we're on daily. Let's go to the 8. Look at that 1, 2. All right. So he's drawn that in, I think, or did I draw that? I think he drew that in. Okay. A, B, C. right? So that's again, right? Same thing, right? What are we looking for? What are we looking for, right? I'm anticipating the 3 in the correction. Now that's a little shallow, but it's the same thing. So here's just straight out of the chute, right? Just a straight ripping impulse corrected by a 3, but it's a shallow 3. We only make the 23. So very easy for you to have been sitting here thinking, I'm looking for that deeper, right? Did you catch that? Probably not, right? I wouldn't have. I'd have been waiting for it deeper. I'd have been sitting down here looking at this going, wow, that looks like a reasonable spot for it to come back to. I got this nice, big, fat, high volume node right here. I'd have been sitting there going, come on, bring it in. Now you could still get it, right? We don't know that that's going to kick for that 5. So you could have a WX Y coming in. That's a little far for the X, but so 1, 2, well, here's how do you qualify it? That's not hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like that's going to be close to the 38, if not right at it. Right? We're looking for the 4 relative to the 2 here. So we're holding the 50. Well, he wants to be a buyer. So either he's already in or he's waiting for, what is he thinking here? What did you send me, Mr. Jack? You're looking for a deeper retracement, or you're already in, right? So he's either already in here because off of this, which he might well be, right? He's already in. That's ballsy, right? So because it's so shallow, do you see? Right? So you'd be looking for the 2 down here. So if you're in on that, Mr. Jack, right? How would he have been able to buy that? Because we got a zigzag 5, 3, 5, right? And that's what he's drawn in there: the 5, the 3, and the 5, which I erased over here. So we've got our little zigzag. Okay, it's shallow. It could roll over, but right now there's no reason not to be a buyer here because the anticipation is that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm looking for that 5 to get, right? So you could use the algo target because we hit a 50, so we know an algo is participating there. If that kicks into a 5, well, you're kind of stuck with this as your. Right. The thought would be that perhaps you're going to relabel here, and this is 3, 4, because you have such a shitty 1, 2. This would actually play because of where it is, because it only retraces to the 23 to the 38. This is a perfect spot for a 4, but you don't really have anything good to work with, and maybe you got a running flat there. That's a big B, but this looks like it was something internal here. You might be stuck with that. But this is such a good 4 that if that completes up here, if it doesn't run away, and if it doesn't run away and you get a smaller 5 up here, I might be, looking at this as an alternate, right? I wouldn't abandon the first count. I would just split my screen and put this as an alternate. And then now, based on what would follow that, you could make some deductions, right? If you get a deeper retracement, okay, well, I know that was likely the 1, right? And now we're putting in the 2, right? So this would likely get stopped out. Right, just reality of trading. If it kicks up here and again working backwards because you don't have a good 1, 2. Jesus, could you use that? No, you can't use that. I wouldn't fuss with this part of it here, but this is just straight pump, right? So you don't really have. So I would be cautious here. But so I would take it one swing at a time. I got a 3 here. I've got something impulsive here. I'm not positive that the 1's here. I don't think Mr. Jack Mr. Jack would be either because it's a good candidate for a 4. So that's a function of what comes next. Because right now your borderline just doesn't look right. It's too shallow for a 2, for a good 2 to be trading with conviction. So the fact that it looks like he's long here. So maybe we end up here. If not, because I've got a 3 and now I'm trying to complete a 5 and it looks like it's working on it. All we have to do is break that and now I got a 5. So do you want to be a buyer here? Well, all right, looks like he likes it longer term, right? So if you get that, one thought, if you're already long, you might take a partial, take a little slice of it off, because what you're looking for now is a 3 that comes off that doesn't violate that low. So now you're in it. Now if that starts to go, well, now you lock in on this. Right now, I think that's a little tenuous. Watch list. Definitely watch list. Uni, of course, right? You want to watch that one. It could be, right? So strong, right? DeFi, everybody's, wet about DeFi. So could be that's going to be our 2, but that would be, again, odds are it's not. Good work, Mr. Jack. So I would take this. If I'm trading this, I'm trading it one swing at a time. I'd be shorter term until I get clarity on, give me a 50 somewhere. Give me a 50, even an internal 50. I don't even have an internal 50. Well, I suppose this is. But now, what kind of legs does that have? Right? I'd want to see. And just to cap that off, excuse me, I'd be curious to see how we look here. Okay, good sign there that we broke, and then we broke it. Well, let's see. Let's take it out of log. Keep it in log, right? So the range is so far, but that's a good sign for bulls. All right, so you've lost the sell side algo. One swing at a time is what I would do there. That's a tricky one, Mr. Jack. All right, we'll finish up with James M. Then I'm going to get to those people that were nice enough to tip and post. So let me get ETH. All right, I hope to do this. Let's see. James M. will give us something. Oh, what happened there? Oh, that's weird. Let me try that again. Which one is leave? Yes, I want to leave. Okay. Oh man, he's giving me 4. Like some top left, right? I was going to say he likes to make it hard for me. So I got to copy this one. All right, last one here. What are we thinking, James? Well, he and I have been going back and forth with this one. Okay, so right off the bat, so this is you're getting kind of a look at Monte Crypto's approach and how he uses geometry and support and resistance. So I almost feel like I don't want to steal your thunder here because you'll explain this better than I, but I can focus in on this. Oh, well, here. Oh, right. So, he's got a shitload of channels. So he's expanding all of these channels. So a lot of the theory, you guys should come back on Wednesday. You should do this on Wednesday where you can do it more justice. See all the channels he's got and all the retracements. That's what's happening here. So really to trade that, you'd want to be, you'd want to be down on a smaller time frame, looking for reactions at these support and resistance zones. But there is a count in here. So if this is, well, let's see, what's he thinking here? So he's given you one possibility here is that we've gone WXY. Okay, possible. The other is that well, I guess it just qualifies, right? We don't break the low. Ooh, that's gnarly, right? Close. Doesn't break the low. So you got 2 counts here, right? Which is a smart way to do it, right? Which and it helps me if he does it on one screen, but I would split it and keep them as 2 alternates on either side. Well, again, just like we were just looking at in uni, right? You don't have a decent 2. I mean, that's all you got to work with. So working backwards, okay, well, there's the 3. That looks like a 3. That looks like you had a 5. So you're kind of stuck with, okay, what can I see here? Well, that's the deepest retracement I get out of the chute because this is just straight up, right? That's Pump City. Now, again, where's the next deepest retracement I get? Right here. So 1, 2, that's not going to be 3. 1, 2, that's a candidate for 3. A, B, C for the 4, coming right to that support zone. Note the Vegas wave flips right now. Red is underneath, right? The 233. Here's the Vegas wave is these 2, right? I just added that on for a third line of support. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C into the 4. Looks like we're about to finish something up here, right? So we end and we begin and we end with a 5, right? So 1, 2, wait a second. Where's your 3? There. Oh, he's looking for potentially a bigger 3 up here. So, this, I cannot do it this way. I have to go up a degree and change the color so I don't get lost. Okay. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, still trying to complete the 5 of the 3 of this 3. 1, 2. Well, that's going to be pretty beefy. I mean, just out of curiosity. 1, 2, where are we? Well, so he's looking for 2618 off of that one. And then we'd have 2618 is when you're getting an extension, a good target to use, looking for some sort of a top. Okay, so do you see this now going 1, 2? Now we're right in the pocket here, but I think that's off by a degree. So if I go right here, so possible that could be your 3, but it doesn't look like it's done, right? So 1, 2, that's all you got to work with on that 2. We're projecting up here. Here's our high probability zone. Doesn't look like it's done. So again, doesn't mean it has to stop there. We just know that's a common location for the impulsive 3. The next, if it's going to really rip, you'd be looking for the 2, 6, 1, 8 up here, which could be a target, right? This, if it's going that far, the Y is going to reduce the probability, right? So we'd be looking for possibly that high. So, right. So let's take that one off. So 1, 2, 3 looks like you're going. So here's sharp. Now it looks like you're going sideways into the 4. So you're looking for that one more kick up here, right? So you could be, well, shit. You got to be careful about where you're buying that in context. Right. So you want, it's kind of what I've been talking about today. We want to be long going into that. We don't want to long it right here. That's, again, it could get through, but that's just a more dangerous. You want to have profit in the bank before you get there. Up, 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 up. Okay, so if I get a reaction there, again, can't hurt me. 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like that's in play, right? Everybody wants to get more ETH, right? So where's a strategic place to buy this? All right, I would look at this and say, give me that retrace. Now I'm in line here with. I'll let Money Crypto on Wednesday explain how all that works. But you've got a candidate here for the 3, 4, 5 to complete, right? So something up here, you want to see that 5 finish. Now, again, you'd work backwards and say, what did I just finish? What? Is it 1, 2, 3? Could be, right? Although that's mighty deep. So is this one. So you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to call that the 1. It works, right? Mighty skinny, but it works, right? We don't overlap. Not overlapping is not overlapping. We don't overlap here, right? It can't overlap by even a tick, right? Those are hard rules. 1, 2, that's kind of shitty, but that's all you got to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look, we're getting an extension here. So to me, well, if you're, I wouldn't be trading huge size here, but this is a play you can make here. I don't think I would, right? So this is too much a problem for me. So unless the 4 is deeper and I could buy it down here, if this is going to get a little more complexity here, and given this took a little more time, you could see something, maybe you get a triangle here, something that goes sideways. I would want to be long closer to this going into that, but what I'd really prefer is something like that. Got it. Right. So he's talking about 90% from this direction. So if we go here to here, let me put on I call it the platinum zone. All right. So we did this here's 887. So you'd be pushing. So he's looking for that to hold. So if this was, I'm glad he added that, because if it breaks that, right. So now we know that's likely we're in the third, right. So we eliminate one of the possibilities here. So if the 90% doesn't hold, then one less possibility to account for. So you can lean into the idea that we're working impulsively here. Look for the 5, the 3. I still, right? If it's me, right? Right, this is, I'm very picky about where I park money, right? So this would come off. If it's me, I'd wait for that to complete, and I'm looking for the bigger 4 to get me to that 5. So I'd want to see that complete, and then I'd be just sitting down here going, okay, give me a 3. So I can get into that 4. If I can get it deeper, all the better. If I can come into structure, but maybe this goes far enough here that this becomes the structure. Maybe this becomes the structure. I want to buy into some previous support. Well, you got all of this, right, as well. We know that's going to be support right here. This, right, it's not done yet, right? So it's not cooked. Is that just going to squirt higher? Maybe it is, right? Crypto's all been pretty solid today. Although it looks like we're pausing right at the moment. I'm just looking over to my right to see Bitcoin. Right, if we're going to hover here, then it increases the probability that it's a 4, but I don't like buying right into the potential top there. That's just me. So I would want to see it either get up here and get to that and then come back down, give me a 3, right? So at least I could say I'm going to buy into that structure, because I know the breakout traders here they're going to be defending that. If they can't hold it, right, we're coming down deeper. I don't want to carry it all the way down. I want to get out. I'll take my small stop. And if this is going to go into a WXY, we're going to get something bigger here. We get this, and I come down to this structure. Now I'm buying aggressively. Right, that's just where you want to see it. We're down a degree into the 3, 4, right? prior structure. Now, if I'm coming back up here to test that, right, if it got rejected and it didn't hold as support, which, you know, we're forecasting out without, we don't have any of this, right? But that's just the roadmap I'd be laying out here. This to buy into that is personal choice, right? If you lever it and it kicks, you probably make some good dough there. But if you lever it, then you sure as hell better have a stop on it. All right, nice post. I would definitely, I'm sure Money Crypto will do ETH on Wednesday. So with all of that said, since we're tight on time, let me get to, what was the one that I needed to do, Money? AVA. Put it in one of mine here. Let's get rid of that. AVA USDT. Binance. Is that it? All right. I know I've read about, I can't remember what they're in the DeFi space. Yeah, that's okay. I thought so. Okay, so first, I always kind of start out a log, and what do I want to get? I want to get the lowest low there. This looks like a completed impulse. That's kind of I would want to check a couple. So one of the things about marking that off here is that it's easy to go down and grab that swing. So given the range, we do here from under a penny to $6. Now I'd go into log. Get that right there. So 1, 2. Well, that's kind of gnarly, right? This is really just a straight rip up. You'd have to go WXY. So I would just start working backwards, right? So this would look like WXY. Now note in log scale, we come right to the golden zone, and one day I'm going to get that into that prior structure. So at this point, I don't know that it really matters, right? I would just call that the 1. At the 2, 3, 4, 5, let's take them up a degree. Let's go to white. Something impulsive happened. Oh, did I do that, or is that him? Where did that come from? I didn't do that. I didn't mean to do that. Man, I can't do it in log scale, but this, because see, I'm working backwards here. Because I don't have a 5 to finish. You're left process of elimination. You're looking at a WXY, so it looks like a combo. But now, what's interesting here is that this straight rip with very little. That's the only candidate you've got for your 2 here. So this has to be 1, 2. Likely that's unless you're doing an expanded running flat there. 3, 4, A, B, C running flat, and then that looks like the 3, 4 of the 5. So whatever it is, it completed here. We got nothing else to work with, so we got nothing else to call it but a 1 down for the 2. So you get a technical pivot, but then much like this, you didn't even get, this was a little bit of a gift here. You got nothing. So you're just going straight up here. So I would start dropping down in time, see if it gets any better. Do I have any 2 I can pull out of there? Well, I guess you could live with that 2, 3, 4, 5. So, all right, we can probably get a count on this. So it looks like you'd have to go 1, 2. That looks like that's going to be your 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That looks like a triangle. Looks like it's working on the 5. Let's take that micro. Something along here. And so note sharp sideways, right? So alternation is in play, guideline of alternation. We're going sideways here. We got a little wick through, but this sharp, this being sideways. Now, right out of the chute, this is a bit of a problem. You don't have any structure to it. So that looks more 4-ish. So it looks like you'd have to do it this way. You'd have to go 1, right? That's the retracement that you have to work with. And then you get this big pump. So it looks like that's just all chop. So let's put you up there. Let's go down a degree. And put that in light blue. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So WXY. You have to go here around the 2 hour. Let's open that up. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, 1, 2. Oh shit, let's see. Can we get a diagram of that? Maybe a triangle is a better solution here. A, B, C, D, E. Let's try it that way. That could be better. Right, when it's going sideways and it's just a chop zone, first thing that pops into my head is triangle. So looks like we could go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do the full labeling. So looks like you can go 1, 2. That looks like you're in the 3. Maybe the 4 is underway. 5. Now let's do it here. This looks like you can get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minuscule. Let's put that in yellow so we can see it. Okay, so I got a candidate here for that 3. I'd want to check the length. Looks like it's a pretty good rip. If that's correct, and that's the 1, that's the 2. Well, we're well beyond the 2, so you'd have to go 3, 3, 6, 1, 8, which just getting it past the 2, 6, 1, 8 implies to me it's the 3. 1, 2 is in. Working on the 3, maybe, right? Remember prior 3, 4, right? If you're going to pick something, let's go down to a 60. So often I'll just wick this off saying, okay, that's a location. I might find some support. Looking for that. And these are thin, right? So this is getting hit. But it's a bit wicky, right? Up, down, it's pump, retrace. So this looks like it's getting worked. Oh, I want to wick that off. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, right? You don't just process of elimination. 1, 2, 3 looks like triangle 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like this. That's a little deeper than you would have liked, and now you're down to the 15. So it looks like. Let's open that up. It's not quite clear that that's done, but you can see the potential here for that 4 to be going in. But now look at the time. Right? Don't forget the time relative to the 2. And so if I zoom in here, look at the length look at my time of my 2 relative to what would be my 4, right? At JDLR. It doesn't look right. Now, you could certainly make the case, okay, that's sideways and that's sharp. Well, I'd be paying attention to the fibs here. Let me get back to, I'd wick this off just as a potential bump, right? This has gone so fast that even if you put volume profile on here, there's going to be it's just gone straight up and not straight down. So this looks like just a pump, right? So people took profit, now it's coming off. I don't like the 4 as it sits here. So I would be watching this really closely, but what I'd rather see is something like that, so I can balance the time between the 2, because this took so long here down on even on a 15. I bring it out to an hourly. I want to balance that out a little bit in time, so at least maybe 50% of that time. So I'd be watching really closely for that 4 to take me up into the 5 to give me that. And that's, pardon me. All right, so there, I got to take this up a degree. This has got to go micro. Let's put that one in green. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're seeking that 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Potentially, that's that 5. So I've got 1 unaccounted for. So it looks like that has to go up. Minuet. Okay. So from that 3, 4, right, which all came from this initial front, well, it looks like they front ran the golden zone. You don't have another candidate here, so that looks like your best choice. Jesus, that's a little ugly. I'd probably put it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wouldn't truncate here, even though that's tempting to think, oh, maybe I just truncated the 5th here. But that's not a good enough finish here. So I think it's right now, remember, Elliott is always just a snapshot in time based on the information we have right in front of us. I'd stay with that until proven otherwise, but I wouldn't be a buyer right here because it's just not enough time. I might stay at a 30-minute. Look at the 2 to the 4. I'd want to see a little bit more development here. And actually, it would make it an easier trade to take. I think you'd be more comfortable here if you built a little base. Jeez, I mean, even if I put it on there, I'm going to use visible range. It went so fast. You don't have much here. Right? So you got a little bit here from this. Let's see, can I move that up? You don't have a lot here. So here you got a little bit right here at this 38. but this is moving really fast. So I'd feel better buying this here if you just had something like this. Just base me out a little bit more. Let me build a little bit more of a base here, so I know that there's support there. So buyers are going to defend. So this would be prior resistance, right? It is the resistance. So is that going to hold as support? Well, that's mighty skinny, right? One little pump wick, is that enough to hold it? I mean, if you get this and you finish up here, well, now you have a pretty good idea where you are, but you'd have to, now let's go all the way back out. Okay, where would you be? You will have just completed the 1. Okay, so this is actually, I'm glad we did this. Okay, so where's the 3 that you're looking for? Way up here. Right, because we know that if it pivots here for the 2 at the 618, that the 1618 will be right at the negative 100, right? From 618 to negative 100 will be the 1618. So this likely, we're just working on completing the 1, right? And then you're going to sit here and wait for that. There's your big one. That's the home run ball. See, when I do it that way, well, you got a couple of things working with you, right? So clearly we get a corner here. All right, now I can give it some structure. All right, so I got a corner. Right, I got 80% probability of getting there, but now it's possible I get there on this one, but based on having worked through all that subdivision here, that might be too much to ask for. Let me pull this one off. Right, might be too much. Shit. To do it on this swing, I want fuck. So one, if that's going to hold here and we miss, now you have to remember that if we miss here and we put in the 5, we double tops, you can kind of see how that could happen. Now we're not going to get there. Remember, it creates the possibility for that, but I would be really fired up to get something like that, looking for the big one, because now I got 1, 2, right? I'm pretty solid, even though the count. Well, you can get a count on it. 1, 2. I'm not anticipating this is going to go. It has to subdivision. Now here's your target up here. It's unlikely to do it all in one swing, right? It has to subdivide. It's not going to do that. Careful, right? It's crypto, right? It could do that, but the odds are you're going to see the subdivision here. We're going to get a 1. Right? So where's the trade, right? You want that one. That's the one you want. And then that would give you the opportunity to frame it again. All right, depending on where that comes. Now I've got 2 targets, right? I've seen them, take 2 years to do this. Maybe it takes it, right? Maybe you get that, right? With crypto, right? If it's going to stay as hot as it is, and we're really just going to rip, I mean, you could just blow right through these, but right, getting them, right? See, do you see the advantage of getting it? Now I've reduced that possibility of trading principle number 4, failure to get there. Each sets up a move equal to or greater than as the swing that doesn't get there. So if I tag it, now I've eliminated one possibility technically. Now, if I get the algo target, oh, boom, I know an algo was in there. Right? Do I get this? Right. If I get that, right, then I'm okay. Good news, right? So I know what's going on, right? I'm confident in what I'm seeing, and I know, right? So as opposed to, God, I wonder why I guess more buyers than sellers. It helps me in terms of my conviction into the trade. If I get that, well, hey, I know an algo just fired there and got it. Just like I know an algo participated here to drive it off of that pivot. But you got to be patient here. So I'd let this finish. If it's me, here's what I would do. I would let that finish. Show me that you finished a 5, and I'd wait for the 3. I'd be looking left, right? Look at all of that potential volume down here. There's obviously here another one here. So you've got these high volume nodes. I'd be paying attention to those, right? If it's not going to hold, look, this is kind of nice the way. If it's not going to hold the 50 at that high volume node, you can pretty much count on it dropping to the golden zone. Right. Often, if they're going to pivot here, if it's not going to make it all the way to the next one, it'll pivot right on the ledge, right before it goes into that low volume. So this is how I'd play that. Finish that 5, and then show me the 3. Now I'm risking the fact that this thing just keeps going, right? Which it could. I like to be picky, right? I don't just take any old trade, right? That's why you guys will hear me say things like somebody will put up a chart. If I can't see it pretty damn fast, next chart. Why? There's so many things to trade. Why take a mediocre setup? Give me something that's drop dead, just in the pocket. I can define the risk. I like the setup. I understand where the count is. I know what the algo did last. I can track their footprints. I see the geometry. I've got the right time balance, all of those factors. Then I trade it, and I don't sweat. I'm not nervous about it. Oh shit, maybe I get stopped out, right? I've been trading long enough to not get freaked out by a stop. If I get stopped out, okay, well, let's reevaluate. But I don't sweat the entry like, oh shit, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going down. Should I be a buyer? Well, if you're not comfortable with that, then just do, right? You've seen me do this 100 times, right? Do that one, right? And there's your stop, right? Because you have to have the conviction to your analysis to say, okay, the pivot's in, right? My conviction is that pivot is in. So if it takes it out, I'm wrong. Something else is going on. I'll reevaluate down here, right? Maybe I got a 5. Maybe this is going to be a more complex correction. If it turns into a 5, well, now I'm looking for a 3 followed by a 5, right? We begin or end with 5s. All right. We got anything else? We covered? All right. So I guess we'll wrap it there. All right, guys. Well, happy Labor Day. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for the tips. I appreciate you guys hanging around. This is recorded. I'll remind you that we do have that special going on just as we started here. If you're not sure about that, if you joined us late, you'll see it on our Twitter feed. If you're interested in developing these kind of skills, the belt system's a great way to go, but you can start with the white belt. You join us for free. That'll get you into the access, get you to the white belt, get you into the public channel and the crypto chat. A lot of people start that way. They come in as a free, and they just kind of look around and go, all right, I kind of like the vibe in here. And that's why people stay, because of the community. It's not because of me. They trade because they stay because they like the community and the interaction with other like-minded traders, and everybody's kind of helping everybody else out. And it looks like, oh man, it looks like you missed that, or that doesn't qualify, or that X can't be there. And so you get guided by the other traders that are studying the same material. And then you develop some, friendships, right? Digital friendships. I mean, shit, right? This is how we communicate now. So that's why people stay. We have people who stayed with us. It's just not about me. They're staying because they like the community. We have people stay. James M. been with us for several years. Some of the really good traders, right, where I bring up the chart and it's like, wow, okay, this is a journeyman technician, right? So I think of it. So keep that in mind. That's a good way to start. I would tell you, if you come in and you have the time to do it, you can get through white and blue pretty quickly if you have the time, to invest in it. All right. With that, we got anything else, Money Crypto? Don't forget. So we'll be back tomorrow with traditional assets, and then my partner on Wednesday with his very unique version of TA, which a lot of people, you'll learn something. Let me say it to you that way. And then I'll be back on Friday to see what the hell Bitcoin's going to do. All right. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll see you tomorrow.